Hello, everybody. What is happening? Welcome to another episode of. Ooh, it's not WIP Wednesday Live. Welcome to a new episode of WIP Friday Night. Friday Live. I'll get it. Don't worry. Episode 53. For anybody who hasn't been here before, this is a weekly live stream where I talk with people in the community, do some live customizing. And get to chat with people in the chat about just whatever's happening in the community. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, and if you haven't, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. Apparently now you can monetize after 500 followers or subscribers, so that's kind of cool. I'm pretty close. I think I'm 4 something. So yeah, let's get up to 500 or whatever, I usually have a little script and I write what stuff I should say, and it looks like I set it up like I meant to, and then I obviously didn't because it's all last week's stuff. Oops. So I'm kind of going off the cuff here. But yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, usually we do this show on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. But this week I had an opportunity to go see a advanced screening of the new Indiana Jones movie with our guest tonight. He's one of my local friends. We'll get to him in just a minute. But yeah, he brought me over to see the new Indy movie. For anybody who doesn't know, I am also not really a big Indiana Jones fan. But we're going to talk a little bit about it spoiler free tonight. He also did a review I shared on my Instagram stories today. So go check that out and show him some love. Last week, what did I do last week? Did I even have a show last week? I don't remember what I did. Last week, I don't think I had a show because I think I was in Twassen last week. So there's nothing for you to look at from last week. It's weird when I feel like I never use my notes, and now that I don't have them, I'm lost. Yeah, last week there was no show, and this week I'm not going to do any customizing just because my buddy's here and we're just going to shoot the shit. I know we'll have good conversations. But I did get in a couple things that I'm super excited about. I got in my Jada Toys Street Fighter finally. These are some of my most anticipated figures of the year. So there's a very strong chance I'm going to open those while we are talking tonight. Of course, most anticipated is Mega Man. Very excited for the Jada Mega Man stuff, which comes in September. And then, as per usual, tomorrow night, join me over on Moose Milk Media's YouTube channel. We'll be talking about Secret Invasion Episode 2 and Always Sunny Season 16 Episode 4. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it tonight after the stream. I heard it's really good. I heard it was written by the main guys, the 3 guys, and I heard it was really fucking good. So I'm super excited to get into it. Okay, so tonight's guest. So this is my friend Sean. He's local to me. We used to work together. That's how we kind of met. And now that we don't, we still keep in touch pretty regularly. He does jump in the chat from time to time on the live streams. He himself has a couple YouTube channels, one focused all around comic books, action figures. And you can check out that here. This is information. This is my friend Sean, aka Enemy Zero. Hey, man.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am just fucking peachy, dude.
I know. You lost your notes, but you're doing great.
I know.
You're doing
I'm
great
hanging
so
in
far.
there. I'm fucking hanging in there.
We'll make it work, okay? We'll make it work.
Why don't you just quickly kind of give everyone a little insight as to who you are, what you do. So I kind of just briefly mentioned the Figurama channel, focusing on all your action figure stuff that you're interested in. We do have a lot of similarities in what we collect, but I know you also have another channel that's kind of focused more on just pop culture in general, video games. Why don't you just kind of fill everyone in who you are, what you do? The description also has Sean's information as well for anybody who's interested.
Yeah. Thank you. So yes, my name is Sean. Nice to meet you all. everyone here. I've
All one
talked
of
to you
you.
before. Yes, all one of you. So yeah, I'm a classic nerd just like Matt, right? But my sort of collecting background is a little bit different than his. Meaning, when I was younger, I was big into comic books and more video games than action figures. Of course, I had, some when I was growing up. I mainly collected, GI Joe back in the day, and that's because GI Joes were so cheap back in the day. Like you could go to Walmart and you could buy a GI Joe for $2,
Yeah,
right?
the good old
So
days.
yeah, the good old days. So every time we'd go to the grocery store or Walmart or something like that, you know what I mean? Like it's either ask my mom to buy this, $10 Transformer or a $2 GI Joe, right? Which one are you gonna get? So I was big into GI Joes like when I was little. That was my number one toy, right? And it transfers to what I collect today, like GI Joe Classifieds. I'm really big in and stuff like that. But most of my life, typically, I was a video gamer, and that's what I've hardcore collected, for the past 20 years or so. Um, but I know you're not super familiar with the video game collecting scene, you know what I
I'm
mean? But
not.
it's
I'm
it's
not.
very it's super it took a turn maybe like 5 or 6 years ago where just prices just absolutely skyrocketed. Like we're talking, like I do have some games in my collection that are worth like $2,000, you know what I
Oh
mean? Like
damn.
I have about a $20,000 video game collection, even though it's
Oh
pretty
shit.
small. You know what I mean? And that's just from the last 5 years. You know what I mean? So, like, I like to collect. I like nerdy stuff. I like pop culture. I like all the '80s stuff that I had when I was growing up. You know what I mean?
We're
And
suckers for nostalgia. We are.
yeah,
It's our age group.
absolutely.
They
Yes,
got us by the
absolutely.
balls.
Yep. We're never going anywhere. Never going anywhere. And so that's why, like, a convert to a sort of. I haven't been collecting figures till probably like halfway through last year, and it was only because of you. Honestly, it's your fault. It's your fault. Um, you showed me those
Oops.
NECA movie turtles, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, figures are this
Yeah.
good nowadays. You know
I
what I
know,
mean?
right?
So I like literally I couldn't believe it. Like when I first saw them, I was like, man, this is so good. I remember I had some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was little, and my actual favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure when I was little is the old Playmates movie figures. I don't know if
They
you
were like
remember
rubbery.
those. Yeah, they were
Remember?
rubbery. I had the
Yeah.
Leonardo, and he was like literally my favorite toy. He was rubbery. I could throw him around and stuff like that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
Like it was easily my favorite Ninja Turtle figure I had when I was younger. So just seeing that modern day Leo, like looking exactly like the movie, you know what I
Ah,
mean? It was
dude,
just
they're
like,
eerily realistic. It's
oh, it was
yeah.
so good. And so that's how, I sort of changed up my collecting habits a little bit. Cause like I said, retro video gaming, sorry, I'm always going to play video games and stuff like
Sure.
that. But you typically don't find like good video games for a good price anymore out in the wild.
Yeah,
Like
you're
old
paying.
classic Nintendo games or Genesis games or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You have zero chance nowadays at finding anything like that in the wild.
Sure.
So it's definitely turned into a different segment of hobby, I guess you could say. But if you do like to play video games, you know what I mean? Like you can get emulators, and there's a bunch of digital versions of all those old games now too that are super cheap, right? So you don't
Yeah, I'm gonna
have to
actually have
have a
to
lot of
hit
money.
I'm gonna have to hit you up to talk about some of that stuff. I have an
Yeah.
idea.
I
I'll fill everybody in on my scenario in a couple minutes here, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I
mean, if you
used to
just
be
like
a
to play
gamer
them.
at that time, like back in the Nintendo, Super Nintendo,
Hmm.
Genesis era. Like
Yep.
that was when I was a gamer. Like,
Right. Yeah, for sure.
the
Yep.
classic
Oh
era
yeah.
of
You can almost, like, I look back at my life and I see phases of my life based on, the video games I played. Like there's the Nintendo phase when I was, 10 years old or whatever, you know what I mean? And when I
yep.
was in high school was the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and my favorite system of all time, the Sega Saturn. I don't know if you're
The
familiar with it.
Sega.
Yeah, it's not a popular system, but I'm telling you, it's
I
my
know it.
favorite of
I
all
know
time, okay?
it. I was gonna
Good.
actually ask you what your favorite was.
Oh, really? No, okay, spoiler alert, it's the Sega Saturn. Um, which is weird because I was always a Sega kid when I was growing up too. Like you were typically either a Nintendo kid or a
Yep.
Sega kid. Well,
Yep.
I was the Sega kid in my very small friend group. Um, So, the Saturn, it's one of those weird things. Like the Sega Saturn is not a great system. It doesn't have as many games as like the PlayStation or anything like that. But it came around it came around exactly the right time in my life to make that big of an impact on me, if that
Right.
makes sense. Because we're all different, right? We've all had different journeys and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
we keep small stuff like that in our heads, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
just works out like that for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember Sega Saturn. I don't know what our
Hmm.
age difference is. I think we maybe have had this conversation before, but I'm 39, so like
39, yeah.
I
I just
remember.
I'm
Oh, sorry,
43, so
43. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So like I
pretty
remember
close.
Sega Saturn coming out, but I remember being like, "There's no games for it." So-
That's true though. It is true.
like, and then like I agree with what you say about you. Most people traditionally were either like a Sega family or a Nintendo family. And like,
Mm.
even though my original consoles were Nintendo, like my dad got super into Arnold Palmer golf on Sega
Oh,
because my dad was
yeah.
a hardcore golfer. And
Really?
like, so he ended up buying a second. We had two Sega Genesises because whenever my dad wanted to play, he didn't want to
Mm.
have to like wait for me and Jay to get off of it. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
he would like buy it and then like he bought it just so he had it and then he would let us use it when we like weren't, when he
Sure.
wasn't playing it, right? But
That's so funny.
yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So, but I mean, like, I kind of grew out of Sega. Like, that's the thing is, like, we were
Mm.
Sega. My family was all Sega, and then I was like, I miss like the simplicity of like Nintendo. And it's like that's one of
Sure.
the things that like I still like when I play a game nowadays. I'm like, I kind of want something that I don't have to like rack my
Hmm.
head on, and like I just
For
want it to
sure.
be mindless fun.
Yep.
And like I feel like modern video games are not that. Like when I see stuff, I'm like,
It's
man, look at all the shit you have to like learn,
yeah.
and like it's a lot.
I mean, that's a great point. That's actually where I am too. Meaning, like I'm a lifelong video game player, and growing up, the kind of games that I liked were the games where you literally like can spend 100 hours, going through the game, getting everything, and talking to everybody, doing all the side quests and stuff like that. And now that I'm an old man and I have kids and I have a job, I I don't like those games anymore because they
It's
take too much time. Like that's the big
like
thing
super
nowadays.
commitment, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing nowadays in the gaming world nowadays is the games are so massive, and they make the games. All the games have DLC. So when a game
Yeah.
comes out, it's not even like you play it and you're done. You have DLC for it, like downloadable packs for it
Yep.
for the next year. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like they
Yep.
really want
Totally.
to capitalize all your time. And the only game that I've ever that's got me like that is I used to play World of Warcraft. I'm sure you've heard of that somewhere in
I
your
know what World of
travels, right? And
Warcraft is. Yep. Yep.
yeah,
They did a
I
South Park episode about it, so I know.
oh yeah, yes, yep, the guy in the basement on the keyboard or whatever. I vaguely remember that. Yeah, that was me. I'm telling you, when I I typically don't like games like subscription games like that, and
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
liked any before World of Warcraft. But when World of Warcraft came out, my friend Dan, he gave me all copies of it came with like a guest pass, like a 10-day
Okay.
guest pass to like give to someone else.
Yeah.
So
Try
he's
to.
like, "Come on, just try it for 10 days." So I tried it for 10 days and then I played it like for 8 years, like every day, like nonstop. So
Well, I remember when World of Warcraft first came out. I remember there was like a statistic, and people were saying it's like the number one video game that people lose their jobs over
oh, yeah, I can
because it's
believe
just
it.
like they're so addicted to it that they just like they can't
Yep,
even like escape it. It's just like
I was there. I was there. I had a front row seat, okay? I had good seats. A row.
That's funny. Yeah, I never played World of Warcraft. I
Don't.
was never like RPG style like game or like
Yeah.
maybe a couple classic like I don't know if you remember. I guess Maniac Mansion wasn't really like an RPG though. It was kind of more of like a
No.
mystery, like
It was
puzzle kind
like
of
a point
game.
and click one, I think, a
Yes, it
little bit more
was.
than that, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember
yeah.
that.
That's probably the closest thing to an RPG I like ever really got into.
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for Xbox 360, I got pretty into the Stick of Truth, which was like a South Park game,
Oh,
and it was like
yeah.
loaded with like
I actually
tons of like deep cut like Easter
yeah.
eggs and like
Yeah,
for
I
people
actually
who are
have
like
that.
Yeah, it's a
the
great one.
sequel to it, there's a sequel to it too.
Oh,
Called
really? I
the
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called The Fractured But Whole.
Oh, yes, I did hear about. I never played it, but I did hear
Yeah,
about it.
I have them both in my collection. I've never played
Oh,
them though.
nice, nice,
That's the video
nice.
game world, right? You buy a game, and there's so many games nowadays. Like I've told you before, I really think we're in the golden age of video games and action figures and stuff like that. Like
We really
there's
are.
so much stuff. Like no
Yep,
matter what you like, there's 100 things for you. And video games
totally.
are no different, but there's no time to play them all. So what I do and what video game collectors do that don't have a lot of time is they buy these games, but they just sit on the shelf, and
They shelve them.
you never play them, right? And at least with action figures, to me, I can buy it and enjoy it because
And
I'm looking at
continuously
it, or
enjoy.
you can continuously enjoy it. Whereas a
Yep.
video game, you're only enjoying it while you play it. So that's
Yeah.
maybe another sort of reason I switched up a little bit, I guess, with
That's
my
fair. That's
collecting
fair.
habits. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on both those fronts. Like, I have the Stick of Truth also, and like I beat it, and then I never played it ever again. It's just sitting in a drawer somewhere. So, What up, Neil? How's it going, man? Neil says video games are the devil.
Is not wrong. That is not wrong.
But when it comes to like toys, it's like you said, you get this continued enjoyment, whether you're playing with them or posing them or just admiring them, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times I just stare at, I'll like sit there and just go through shelves and just stare at them and be like, oh man, it's all mine.
It's cool too. Other people can enjoy it too, right? Like
Totally.
if you have like friends over or something, obviously they don't care about your video game sitting on the shelf, but they
Fair,
can still
fair.
enjoy, the scenery.
When my friends come over, they get
decorations.
lost in this, right? Even people who like are not into nerdy stuff, like like every time my in-laws come over, they'll like spend like a good like 5 minutes in here, like just cruising through everything and seeing what they can find.
I would probably have a heart attack. I would have a stroke, I think.
Well,
With
I'm
all the
excited
cool
because as I kind of alluded to earlier, we kind of have some development. I mentioned this to Sean before we came on, but in the last week or so, my wife and I have been talking a lot about moving. I mean, I don't really want to move because I like where I live, but we have kind of stumbled upon an opportunity to acquire a house instead of a condo. And yesterday we did our first showing, and it was a private showing. It's not even listed yet. And after the first showing, they bought it. So we got like a very nice chunk of change for our condo. It's only a few years old. It's only not even 4 years old. So so we are officially moving, and in doing that, I will be getting a dedicated studio in the backyard to customize and podcast and do my live streams. And this lovely display you see behind me is going to go from 3 shelves to 6. So I'm going to very much be able to spread out, which is nice because I can get rid of like the less desirable shelves. Like the 2 shelves on the bottom are like backbreakers. Like they fucking hurt to set up, like because these shelves take so long to set. Like I'm like literally laying on my stomach for like 6 hours trying to like fit, and like it's not comfortable, right? Like
Ouch.
I dread those bottom shelves, and the very top ones I'm on a ladder, so it's like, I really dislike the 2 bottom and the top shelf. So I'm going to be just using the 4 kind of in the middle, like the best locations. So yeah. Oh, hello,
Nice.
Angie.
Awesome.
This is Angie from Dallas, Texas. Hi. Thank you for stopping by. It's a new face. I haven't seen that name before. Thank you for being here. Please, if you don't mind, hit that like button. Really helps. Really helps. But yeah, so that's kind of what's happening. So unfortunately, in that with that happening, I am going to have to take another leave. I was really hoping to kind of get a good full summer in of WIP Wednesday, but it looks like I will get another 4 episodes in. I have stuff lined up for the rest of July. Quickly just run through that, and then I got questions for you, Sean.
Nice.
So next week on Wednesday, I have a very exciting guest, Face Customs from the UK. He is one of my buds that I've been chatting with for quite some time. We've never done like a video chat, so this should be interesting, but I'm very excited to have him on. We're going to do some talking about customizing and all the fun stuff that goes with it. On July 12th, I'm still waiting for confirmation, but it looks like I might have Wade from Unparalleled Universe coming on to talk about his Odious Kickstarter, which should be really fun. I'm hoping it's getting pretty close at that point to the final days of the campaign. So hopefully I think we're about halfway there now. I'm really hoping that everybody's going to jump on that and support that, because I really want, it's like such a good base. Oh, it's such a good base
it
body
looks
for
pretty
like
cool.
furry figures.
I think I saw it on Foosh with Robo a few weeks ago. Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. So, and he's like he doesn't say it, but he's like an OG, like in the toy community. Like he's been doing it for like quite some time. So it's really cool to, like, again, anytime we get to have somebody from our community like making the toys that we're buying, it's always exciting, because they know what we all want, and and it looks great.
Feedback.
Yeah, and it's great because what you're getting. He's kind of referred to it as like a cross between Mafex and Marvel Legends, and I'm just like, it sounds great, it looks great, it's good fodder. Like I've already backed 2, because I'm going to put one on my shelf as is, and then I want one to like use for custom fodder. And then like as we get closer, if he's still like really needing the support, I'm going to probably scoop up and like another one and kind of go from there. So I'm at this point, it looks like July 12th is going to be on Parallel, and then it looks like July 19th, my buddy Justin, aka Resilient Customs, he does dioramas. He actually did the diorama that I often use on my desk, on my workspace. He did that for me a while back. So he's going to come on that week. And then on July 26th, that'll be the last show for probably, it depends. If the studio comes together really quick and I can have it up and running in October, I'll be back. But if I don't have a dedicated space, it's going to probably have to wait until I have that. So, at this point, it's open-ended. It could be as late as like next year, but I'm hoping it's kind of like September, October would be great. So July 26th will be the last one. And I'm hoping that my friends, Draven Arts and Ethan Supley Customs, my friends who help organize the legendary secret swaps, are going to come on. We're going to do a recap of the summer swap that's happening right now, and probably really try to promote signups for Secret Santa, which will be going up around the same time. So lots happening. So I got a pretty full schedule for July, and then obviously I'll set things up here and there where I can, but that's the reality of what's happening. So all of this shit behind me needs to get put into individual baggies, put into totes, and because I have so much, I have to organize the totes by like, this is this shelf and this shelf, this is this shelf and this shelf.
Yep.
And it's a fucking lot. So
every time I move, I forget to label the boxes, and I play the game where does this go? Where does this
when I moved here, I didn't label the boxes, and every time I would try to find something, it was always the last one I opened.
Yep.
So
of course. Yeah.
Oh, D, what's up, man? So driving home from the gym, I can't watch, but I can hear your lovely voices. Thank you very much, my friend, for
how are our lovely
listening.
Voices today? Are
sounding very
lovely?
Nice, very
nice.
Neil says get wings on. I would love to get wings on. That's a great idea. Maybe once I'm set up again and back at it, I will do that. Wings is a great customizer, and someone who I also chat with semi regularly. So yeah, Sean, I usually do these. I always call them rapid fire questions, but they ultimately end up taking like way too long. So they're not rapid fire. It's like slow motion questions, but it's just to give everybody who's here an idea of like what kind of stuff you're into and what are your favorites and stuff. So yeah, you can be as speedy or as slow with the answers as you'd like. Favorite superhero. Who's your favorite hero?
Favorite superhero? Well, I don't know. While I was growing up, I was a big, Marvel fan.
Okay.
But then, if you remember, I don't know if you collected comics back in the day, but when Image Comics came out, right?
Oh, I remember.
Straight on the Image train. Like, I was a huge Todd McFarlane fan from his Spider-Man days, so I loved Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man. So growing up, my favorite hero was actually Spawn, which is Todd McFarlane's Image creation, which is kind of weird. It's kind of an adult comic, and I was maybe like 12 or 14 when it came
Yeah,
out.
when you're at that age, you
But
gravitate to that, though. That's the
yeah,
problem, right?
sure. So I
Yeah.
even like I don't know, I was an interesting little kid. I even because my name's Sean, right? So I loved Spawn so much. Like I literally went to school and started signing my school papers Spawn instead of Sean. And I told my teachers, my name is Spawn from now on. I want you to call me Spawn, okay? And my teachers were like, "No,
We're
you're
not calling
crazy.
you that.
I'm
Yeah.
not calling you that." But it lasted for about a month. Like literally, I wrote Spawn on all my papers. I told my mom, "Call me Spawn."
Just call me Spawn.
so,
She's like,
so
Sean, it's dinner. You're like, yeah, it's close enough.
yep. So I grew out of that after about a month or so, you know. But I've always liked the X-Men. Big back in the day. I guess current superheroes. I guess I'm a big. Uh, I gravitate more towards the MCU movies than the comic books nowadays. So I'm a huge Captain America movie
Okay.
MCU Captain America fan. I'm not a fan
Whoop,
of Captain
whoop.
America in the comic books,
Me
but in the
neither. But I love
movies,
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, he's the man. Like
He's the man.
he's perfection. He
Yep.
is Captain America, right?
I
And
agree. Couldn't agree
so,
more.
I'm definitely more. I've always been more of a Marvel person than a DC person. I do like
Yep.
DC. I like Batman and stuff like that. I do love Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is in my top 3 probably. Like
Okay.
I have quite a few Wonder Woman figures. I've even imported a couple. I
Oh,
have
nice.
SH Figure Arts one and stuff like that just because I
The
like
Gal
her
Gadot
so
one?
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
from the movie. Yeah,
Nice.
I
Nice.
there
Yeah,
was a
that's a nice
learning
figure.
process to that though, because I didn't know the scale was going to be smaller
Right.
than the sort of US scale.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's the only drawback with that in my mind, because I'm definitely a 6-inch plus collector nowadays,
Right.
as we've
Yeah,
talked
they
about in
kind
the
of
past.
scale more like true 1/12 scale, which are
Right.
like,
Yep.
she's probably what, like 5.5 inches, right? She's probably.
Yeah, I think she's right around 5. If
Oh,
she
okay.
was around me, I'd grab her, but I don't think she
Yeah.
is. But yeah, so I don't know. Captain America, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Spawn. I still do like Spawn, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
um those are
What
some
about
of
what
my
about
top
villains? You got a favorite villain?
villains. It's gotta be Thanos.
Oh,
It's gotta be
damn.
Thanos.
Right.
My number one comic book story growing up was Infinity Gauntlet. And so
Okay.
that's why the first 10 years of the MCU movies,
Yep.
meant so much
Spoke
to
to you
me.
so much? Yeah.
Yeah, the build up to Infinity War and Endgame. I mean, like it was like heaven to me, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I even have those. I have all 6 issues of the original Infinity Gauntlet, and they're
Oh,
actually
nice.
signed by the artist George Perez,
Oh,
who
nice.
actually died a couple years ago, right? So
Oh, I didn't know
like
that.
this has super sentimental value to me, you know what I mean? Signed by
Yeah.
him, the whole set. It's pretty amazing. And so that's probably why Thanos is one of my favorite
That would make
villains of all
sense.
time.
That would make sense.
So I loved how he was handled in the MCU. How they gave him sort of, I really like it when they do flesh out motivations of
Me too.
villains rather than, hey, I just want to kill everybody, to this is what I believe, you know what I mean? And I think
Yes,
Thanos,
totally.
they handled Thanos super well. They handled the
Yeah.
Infinity
Thanos
Gauntlet
was
super
done well.
well. Like it's just cemented him up there with me as probably my favorite villain of all time, I guess. I'm villain wise too. I guess I do gravitate a lot towards Star Wars villains, like
Oh,
Sith
okay.
in Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I love me some Darth Vader.
yeah, I'm definitely a Jedi in my soul, but the Sith are so much cooler. You know what I mean? Like, from the old video games, Darth Malgus from Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Vader.
Yep.
There's such cool designs. Darth Revan, like,
Yeah, they are cool designs.
they're such cool designs. I love them. Even Kylo Ren from the new movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I would definitely agree.
So, villain wise, like I don't think I've ever seen a Sith that was just
That
like,
wasn't for you.
yeah, that you're lame, man. Get out of here. Like,
Yeah,
so
they are
I've never met a
usually the
Sith I don't
compelling
like.
ones. I've never met a Sith
Right.
I don't like.
Right. So, I
Okay.
don't know. But Darth Vader is he's the granddaddy of them all, right?
I would
He's
agree.
cool.
Darth Vader. We were talking about this on Wednesday when we saw Indy, but like,
Yeah.
it's like Disney gets a lot of slack for their Star Wars, but one thing I can say is that Disney Vader is just infinitely more scary than pre-Disney Vader, and
Oh
like
yeah.
I just love it. Like Like I remember watching Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan
The
TV
series, yeah.
show, and like,
Yep.
man, I got goosebumps during those
hmm
Vader Obi-Wan battles, like, and just
Yep.
like how
Absolutely.
relentless he is like force choking fucking kids and just like tossing them
hmm
around and shit. I'm like, dude, what the
Yep.
fuck? This is
And that
crazy.
that scene, like I told you before, that scene at the end of Rogue One, I
Oh
had no
man.
idea that scene was about to happen, and when it happened, I was just like jaw on the floor. It was
Yeah.
like, this is
Like,
next level
oh,
right
that's
here. Like,
why everyone is afraid of him.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the original Star Wars movie obviously is amazing, but he's
Yes,
just
of
walking down
course.
the hallway, right?
Yeah.
Well,
At that point,
this one
he's
he's
like,
walking
his
down the hallway,
imposing days are behind him. Everyone knows he's a badass, but we just have
right?
to assume it.
Yeah, for sure.
But getting
Yeah,
to actually see it play out has been very fun. So,
yeah. And I know you haven't played them, the new Jedi games,
yes.
Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. If anyone's played them in the chat, both of them do have, spoiler alert, a Darth Vader, scene at the near the end of the games, and they are so intense and so amazing. Like,
I
it
bet.
is like, because you're not going to beat him. Obviously, it's a canon story. It is in the Star Wars universe,
Yes.
so you're not going to kill Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And it's so intense to try to not get killed by him. I guess that's the goal.
It's
Just
the
don't get
best you can
killed by
do.
Darth
Yeah.
Vader.
Don't die.
Right? So, but they, like, if you ever get a chance to play the games, like those scenes are
Pretty amazing.
they're pretty amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
bang
I
on.
could understand that, especially being a longtime Vader fan. Getting to roll up and all of a sudden there's Vader. It's like, oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah. And Vader's so cool because a lot of people love double-bladed lightsabers now and dual wielding and everything, but he's just the OG single lightsaber. He can beat
Hell
anybody
yeah.
with that single lightsaber, right?
Hell yeah.
And, man,
Yeah.
yep,
He's
that's
great.
it.
I just
Darth
love
Vader.
how he uses the force and just like
Mhm.
up against the wall, down onto the floor, fucking
Yeah.
toss you around like you're just nothing,
Yeah,
It's great.
it's so cool. Yeah, I agree.
Favorite toy line.
Oh, I've already said it. When I was growing up, it was G.I. Joe. And G.I. Joe, like, it was out of necessity, right? That was the cheap toy. So that's what I just gravitated towards. So I had all the classic G.I. Joes, Snake Eyes, all the Storm Shadow and all them. And, every time we went to the grocery store, I would beg my mom to get one. Come on, it's only $2. It's only $2. So, I had a ton of G.I. Joes, you know what I mean? I played, with my cousin all the time. Like, that was it. I did love, other stuff, Ninja Turtles, Transformers. I had a couple of He-Mans, you know what I mean? And,
Nice.
as I've grown up to modern day, I tend to really like the G.I. Joe Classified series right now as it stands. I do really like it. It's super, super, super nostalgic for me because it brings me back to that time, like we talked about earlier, right? So I don't think it's a perfect line by any means, but it's so, like, it's amazing. Like, I have Alley Viper right here. I don't know if you can see. So Alley Viper, like, I had this guy when I was a kid, right? And just like the design notes on it and stuff, like, would just bring me back to playing with this dude in the bathtub when I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
it's so cool in that sense. And I love the scale. I love how all the weapons fit on, typically will fit on the body, so you don't have any extra parts with G.I. Joes. Like, I really like that design choice. You know what I mean? So that was my number one line when I was a kid. It's probably my number one line right now, although
it's probably the thing you have the most of now, right? Yeah, like, it's probably the richest of your collections.
Yeah, it's definitely the collection I've gone, because I've only started collecting maybe the last year or so, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean? And which is it's weird. My collecting, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but
that's okay.
My collecting, the collecting I do now is like opposite of what I did when I was younger. Because when I was younger, or not when I was as young as G.I. Joe, when I was a little bit older and had a job and could afford to buy
your
stuff
own
for myself.
Yeah.
Like I would go into like KB Toys or Toys R Us, and I'd see the
KB
old,
Toys
like,
was the best, man.
I worked there. Yeah, I was an assistant manager.
Oh, really?
For
nice.
a year. Yeah. Were they in Canada? I don't even know.
No, they weren't. But I was right on the border of Michigan, so we were in
right.
Detroit a lot, and we used to go to KB all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was assistant manager there, so I'd go in and I'd actually look at the old Marvel figures. I think they were toy.
Yeah, the
bids back
5-inch
in the
ones.
day, right?
Yeah. Those
They
are
were
great.
toy
I had
bids,
a wide selection of those.
Yeah, and I was a Marvel kid. I love Marvel, but I'd look at the figures and I'd like, man, these things are so ugly. You know what I mean? They have all these weird joints and stuff like that. And then like I explained already, I'm a huge Spawn fan. Well, Spawn back in the day, when
Yeah, those
Spawn the
weren't very
figures
articulated
first came
either.
out, yeah, when Spawn figures first came out, they were like the opposite. They were more statuey
Right.
than articulated, if that makes sense. And I gravitated more towards that. I saw like Spawn figures and I was like, oh my God, this is no comparison. Like this is the figure doesn't move, just stands there, but it
But
looks
he looks
so good.
badass.
It looks
Yeah.
so good, right? And so I had a huge, my early 20s, I was a big Spawn figure collector from the first few lines of the series.
Yep.
I don't have them anymore. I've kind of over the years I've had to
Yeah,
purge
you
through my
lose stuff.
collection a little
Yeah,
bit,
of
right?
course. Of course. Yeah,
When
yeah,
I
yeah.
moved, because my big purge in my life was moving to Canada, because obviously
Right.
no one knows about this in the chat. I'm from the US. I moved to Canada at some point. That was a huge purge, you know what I mean? Like I had to sell a lot of my comic books and a lot of my
Yeah, that
video games and
sucks.
stuff like that. It was just it was it's expensive to move countries, and everything you collect, you have to move. That's the
That's the
problem,
hard
right?
part. Yeah,
The
it's
hard part
true.
is moving it, right? So if you're
If
about to
that's not
move and you got
relatable
stuff you
for
don't
right
want to
now, I
move,
don't know what is.
right? Yeah, I know. You're gonna find out. You F around and find out, okay?
Yeah.
uh, so back in the day, right? So like I love the Spawn figures, just the way they looked. And I think one of my keys that I've actually learned by myself, about myself, going through my collection nowadays, is I really like good, for some reason I like good paint jobs. I think that's what, in my head, that's what differentiates a lot of good figures to bad figures to me.
Fair.
Whether
Yeah.
whether it's right or it's wrong, it's just, if a figure
That's
has a
your
really good paint
preference.
job, it's like, oh, that looks amazing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just plain plastic or something like that. So I did pick that up from those early Spawn days, you know what I mean? But like nowadays the McFarlane figures are probably some of my least favorite nowadays, because they have kind of wonky articulations, and a lot of the paint jobs are not that good. You know
Sure.
what I mean? So
Sure.
it's sort of like, what I'm getting at is sort of like the opposite of what I was when I was a kid. Now I like the articulated figures, like
Yeah.
Snake Eyes, GI Joe Classifieds. The Marvel Legends are actually articulated very well usually, also, you
Yep.
know what I mean? And
Yep.
I
I
really like
agree.
good articulation nowadays, and I love good paint jobs. And so that my second most collected stuff nowadays, I'm just going to say stuff, is probably NECA stuff. Like I
Okay.
really really love NECA stuff. I love
Me
the
too.
care they take into stuff. I love their designs. I love the scale. I love
Yep.
the paint jobs. I love almost everything about NECA figures. And I know, not every company is perfect, sure, whatever. But
I could
NECA
still
figures,
pick apart them for things, but the
sure,
fact of the
yeah,
matter is, and like I've alluded to this so many times when I'm here or on other channels talking about toys, when I buy NECA figures, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Like that's the
that was my
biggest
original
difference.
thought. Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Like I love Marvel Legends. I think that they've done a lot of great things for the toy industry and like setting the standard, but I
Mhm.
don't feel like they're at the front anymore of being the innovators anymore. And to be honest with you, I'm very particular about like where I'm putting my money, and I'm finding I'm straying away from Hasbro a lot more these days because I
Yep.
don't, at the new price, I don't feel the value is there anymore. Like for
Yeah.
me to get a figure with one extra, like even like I use Spider-Man as a great example. If
Yep.
Spider-Man doesn't have the three sets of hands, the fists, the thwips, and the wall
Mhm.
crawling hands, I'm not
Yep.
interested. Like
Right.
that
Yeah.
is a deal breaker at this point. Like they need to
Yeah.
have all three.
That is something, exactly to your point. That's something I did notice when I first got into collecting figures, about a year ago, when you first showed me those Ninja Turtle movie figures. It was like I could get this Ninja Turtle movie figure for, $30 or so. And then I'd look at this Star Wars Black figure for $30 right beside it. And it's like night and day with what
Yep.
you get, the quality you get and everything like that. So I am picky in that sense too. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
that's not to keep, bashing on Hasbro or whatever, but that's why I don't collect a lot of Star Wars Black nowadays. Because
Yeah.
when
Same
I
here.
when I look at a lot of the figures, they're in my mind, they're not even close to the value. But obviously I still buy some of them, but
Me too. Me
most of
too.
them I wait for them to go on sale.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a good sale finder. Okay, I'm very patient.
As I had said to you the other night, with Black Series in particular, I have made a list for each era of Star Wars that I collect, which is basically all of them. These are the figures that if they put out, I would buy, and if it is
Right.
not on that list, they don't get purchased. So there's still quite a bit from the sequels era and the Mandalorian era that I want, but like, you know, aside from like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 from original trilogy, right? You know, I'd still love to get like a Neum Num. That'd be fucking great. Like there's a handful of like, you know, original trilogy characters I want, but I'm mostly at the point with my OT trilogy that like shelf that like it's where I need it to be. Like it's pretty much, yeah, it's like 98% there.
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan? Moose Milk Media. Ryan says only Watto all the time.
Does he come with a chance cube?
Nubian, huh? But yeah, I'm exactly the same. Like when it comes to Star Wars Black Series, like I just I don't see the value anymore. Honestly, they took away articulation and they don't have accessories. They all look like they're about to give you hand jobs because none of them have extra hands. They're all just fucking skiing, and it's just I'm not in.
The little $35 R2D2 doesn't
like
intrigue
Wicket
you at all, you know?
I said to you the other night, Wicket. He doesn't even fucking have leg movement. He doesn't have knee joints. He's just fucking stiff legged. I'm just like, the fuck do I do with this? Right? Yeah. $35? Actually more because it was on the retro card. It's like $40 Canadian. Like, fuck off. What?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just I'm over it really. Like
for sure. Yeah.
And like the thing is like you know, if something appeals to me, I buy it. But it's just like it's annoying when there's so many fans out there who are very vocal about what they like, what they don't like, and it's more exhausting when you see teams that totally see what's out there, see what people are saying, and then just go the other way. Like I feel like Star Wars is a great example of that. It's like, can you guys read the room, or what the fuck is going on over there? Like,
I actually, you know, I say that, you know, the last Marvel Legends live stream that they had, right? The big long one, it was super long. They showed off a lot of stuff. Like I said
that was when they showed off all the Avengers,
you know what I mean?
The Avengers waves, right? Yeah.
Like some of it was like killer, and some of it was just like, who
wants this?
Yeah, who's buying this? You know what I mean? But I guess I think the companies really count on completionist collectors nowadays.
Yeah, I think
people that buy everything, right?
Everything.
And me, because I do have a limited budget right now, but more than that, I'm not a completionist collector. I sort of like, I want to, if there's 10 different Spider-Mans, to me, I want to find the one Spider-Man that's perfect for me, and I'm going to get it, and that's always going to be there, if that makes sense. But you know, I'm okay if that's not the norm, you know what I mean? If being a completionist collector is not the norm. Again, I'm new on the scene, so that's just the way I think about it. And that's again, that's another reason I told you about this the other night. It's another reason I really like NECA. Like, and other companies do this too. I think Super 7 does it too, where they release like an ultimate version of a figure. You know, like, hey, this is the end all be all figure, you know what I mean? This is perfect in every way, even though obviously some of them aren't, like we talked about, April,
like we talked about.
But you know, like that speaks to me. Like I really like horror movies, right? So I collect some of the NECA horror movie figures, and I have a Jason and a Freddy Krueger, right? And I only have one of each. They have one for each movie, but what I did was I got the one that attaches to the movie that I'm most nostalgic about, if that makes sense. So I have the Freddy Krueger that I want. Maybe someday I'll get the rest, you know what I mean? But right now I'm good with my
You're happy with what you have.
Freddy Krueger and my one Jason Voorhees, you know what I mean? My one Predator. Even though if anyone doesn't know, Best Buy, believe it or not, Best Buy in the US has a lot of good action figure sales nowadays. I just found a NECA Predator that I wanted there, the one with the cut off arm. And it was like $16 or something like that. Like you can find some good stuff at Best Buy nowadays.
Nice.
So check it out. I'm a good deal finder, right? Target and Best Buy have
bargain hunter.
Yeah, Target and Best Buy have the best bargains.
I always see deals on Target.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Moose Milk says, God willing, Chance Q. I mean, Padme is really the villain of the trilogy. 25-year-old hitting on an 8-year-old boy.
Yep. Listen to the Weird Al song, okay? Weird Al has a song about that, okay?
It's so funny. I love Weird Al.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying about the like kind of ultimate version. There was a time with my MCU collecting that's kind of was my rule, was like you get one version of a character and that's it, right? But it kind of that went out the window pretty quick. So, but yeah, I'm not necessarily like that. Like, for me, I'm more like era specific. So like, when it comes to X-Men, like I was saying to you before, like, I love my Jim Lee. I love my 90s X-Men in terms of aesthetics. Like that's my favorite looking X-Men team. But like I also love Age of Apocalypse, so gotta have them. I also have a big nostalgia for like giant size X-Men, like late 70s, early 80s. Like really love those aesthetics too. So gotta have those.
Yep.
We were talking about Generation X before we came on, and it's like I'm gonna need those as well. You know what I mean? Like it's just
yeah.
I think never fucking ends.
If I had the space and if I had shelves like you, I think I would think like you, meaning each shelf I would want to complete the shelf, if that makes sense.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
That's how I've switched my focus when it comes to collecting over the last year. It's been less of like this fits into this, so I'm just gonna buy it, and it's been more like how do I complete a collection? Like I've been looking at things and being like, I want a complete collection of this. So what does that entail? So even with Jim Lee X-Men, like that 90s shelf is this close to there. I'm missing like Kylun from Excalibur. I'm missing Rachel Summers from Excalibur. I'm missing I love that Cyclops.
This is so cool.
Good. Yeah, he is. Good. He really is.
He's on my desk with me because I like him so much.
Yeah, I love that Cyclops. He's so fucking good.
Yeah,
it's the best Cyclops by far. So
yeah, I took your advice on that for sure.
Good call.
You gave me good advice on that. It's amazing.
Yes, yeah, I like it a lot. So who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Ninja Turtle. Well, it sort of changes, and it depends on what we're talking about. I know this is a non-answer, but like in video games, like I've played all the Ninja Turtle games throughout time. There's a really cool new one out now. I don't know if you heard,
Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge. It's
so fun.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Typically, all the video games, my favorite turtle is, I know you're going to be excited, is Donatello.
Yeah.
Because he has the longest reach. He typically has the longest reach out of anybody in the games. So if you're talking about video games, Donatello is the man, okay? He's my man. Vanilla Ice. I see that.
Vanilla Ice, Neil says, is his favorite turtle.
But growing up, my favorite was Raphael. Because I was kind of an angsty, person that went against the flow in everything I did, you know what I mean? And so I identified with him, I guess, a little bit more. And then as I grew older, it was Leonardo, because, he was the calm, nice leader. And so we matched personality-wise, I guess you could say. So I guess I've loved them all throughout the ages, except for Michelangelo for some reason.
I always enjoyed Mikey. So. Same. I always enjoyed Mikey, but he's never been a favorite. It's always bounced between. I mean, Donnie has forever been my favorite, but like for the same reasons with you with Raph, like I was always a huge nerd, but like I was also bullied a lot. So the angstiness of Raph really spoke to me when I was younger because like it was kind of how I felt, but Donatello was like kind of how I projected. So like. I just kind of like was always more, those two are kind of like, those are the right answers. And like, I liked Mikey, but like, he was never a favorite. He was more just like, he was always like the lighthearted, fun one. And then Leonardo, I'm like, boring. He's like Cyclops to me. Leonardo's like
right. Yeah.
Like I like Cyclops's look, like, especially his Jim Lee look. Cyclops's Jim Lee look, that toy you just showed, that is one of my all-time favorite comic book costumes. Like I love that look.
Oh yeah.
But I've always disliked Cyclops, always, until
I agree. He's like white bread, he's the Vanilla Ice, of X-Men. Okay. So yeah, I loved Raphael, especially in the first Ninja Turtle movie, the original movie. He was easily the coolest character.
Sure was.
Not easily. I mean, they were all cool.
But
he was definitely, the coolest character in the movie. And then
get that
maybe
trench
after
coat
that,
on,
I
and it's like, fuck
yeah. You like crumpets? So, and then after that, maybe
Nice.
Leonardo took the lead a little bit for me, but it was Raphael most of my life.
Okay.
But if I ever pick up a controller, I got the purple
Donnie.
guy. Okay, I got you.
He does
Representing.
machines.
But yeah, Shredder's Revenge is amazing.
So
Amazing.
fun.
If you
So
if
fun.
you ever get a chance, have you played it at all?
I beat it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's
Okay.
the last game. I literally play like one video game every like 3 years, and
Yeah.
that was the last quota. Was
Well, you might
one.
not know this. They just announced the first DLC to it, and the
Oh,
new
I didn't know
playable
that.
character. The new playable character is Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh, maybe I did see that actually. Yeah, yeah. Is it for
That's
Switch?
gonna
Do you
be
know?
cool. Yeah, I have it on Switch.
Okay, nice. I'm
You
gonna have
can
to look
borrow
that
it
up.
if you need it. If you
I have it for Switch, but I can just download
Okay.
the DLC. So
Yeah. I don't know when it comes out, but
oh, that's
they're
not
they're
it yet.
even
Okay.
they're it's gonna have some cosmetics in it too, which is kind of cool. Meaning the turtles can change their colors to the different era
Playscape.
of turtle color. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yes, you can customize your turtles to the color of the era you want. Like the dark green,
Sure.
era, or the cartoon era, or whatever. That's going to be in the DLC too, which is it's just cosmetic, but it's still pretty
It's
cool.
still fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
Well,
pretty cool.
if NECA wants me to buy another set of Toon Turtles, all they have to do is release them in the Playmates colors.
Yeah,
I love
know.
the 4 different
What am I-
shades of Playmates colors. I love
Yeah,
them. The best. So,
that's awesome.
yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I actually like the new how Playmates released the exact replicas of the old turtle line.
Yes.
And they're
yeah.
super cheap. They're only like $11 or something like that. I mean, they're actually pretty cool. They have the open shell ones now. I forget.
Oh,
what
I saw
called.
that. Yes.
Hide a shell or
yeah.
whatever. And I remember I had one of those when I was a kid, where you pop a shell open and keep everything inside. So I might get those
I had
eventually
a few
too,
of
because
those.
they're so cheap. They're like $12 at
Well, it
US
sounds
Walmart,
like a good way
what I mean?
to add to my displays, because once I expand my display, I have one shelf that's just for like random. Like I always plan everything in advance, right? So it's like I already know where all my shelves are going to be and what they're going to be filled with. And I have one that's just like random turtles. So like I should maybe get those, because that would be inexpensive and good and nostalgic. So, thanks,
Yeah,
buddy.
they're really cool. I honestly.
Moose Milk says, "Gotta go. Wish you both the best of evening." Thanks, man. Don't work too hard. I know you won't, but and then we'll see you tomorrow. So for anybody who is watching, join me and Ryan tomorrow. Moose Milk Media Pod. It's 10 p.m. usually on Saturdays. Tomorrow is on Saturday, so we'll be doing it at 10 p.m. And we're talking Always Sunny and Secret Invasion. Have you been watching Secret Invasion yet?
No, I know I'm weird. I'm one of those Netflix style peoples that
You
likes
like to
to
wait.
binge watch the whole series at
That's
once.
fair. That's
So
fair.
typically,
I feel like you get a different feel for a series when you don't have to sit on it for a week.
yeah, for sure. So I want to watch it. I actually did watch the first 5 minutes of it just with my son to see if he was interested in it too. But we didn't have time to watch the whole thing. But I'm definitely one of those binge watchers. Like I like to wait till I did that with The Mandalorian. All 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, I just shut my ears, blah 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 blah, no spoilers, and waited till the whole seasons were out, and then
Look at
then
you.
watched everything.
That's amazing.
I did that with
What up,
Obi-Wan
Southtown Pain
too.
Apps?
So
How are you? Thank you for hitting that like. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is like I'm too involved in it, so it's like to not stay up with it, it's like really difficult for me to do. So
for sure, yeah. And you talk about it a lot, on
we talk about
podcasts
it
and
every
stuff,
week, so kind of need
sure.
to be watching it. Yeah, I'm really liking it a lot. Like the first episode, I was kind of like, it seems like there's a lot of setup going on, but it's kind of already starting to pay off. I really, really like this week's episode. It was kind of really moved the story forward in a lot of ways, and I'm like, okay, this is exciting. It's exciting to see what we're gonna get next week now. So I'm pretty
excited.
I'm enjoying it. So, and I love Samuel L. Jackson, especially when he plays Nick Fury. He's just so good, and this is just such a Nick Fury show, and I'm really loving it. I'm really loving it.
I mean, that was the first 10 years of MCU. Honestly, the thing that they did right more than anything else was the casting. Like, Chris Evans is Captain America. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury. You know what I mean? Like I can't even picture anyone else like ever doing that again, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And
yeah, totally.
I think
I remember Do you remember when Martin Scorsese, I think it was Martin Scorsese, he was like shitting on the MCU there
Yeah.
for a bit. And one
Yeah.
of the things he said was Chris Evans isn't the reason that people go to these movies. It's Captain America that people want to see these characters, and that's what makes them good. And I was like, I could not disagree more. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to a movie because it's Captain America. I don't even fucking like Captain America. I go because Chris Evans, to me, is the definition of what makes Captain America so cool. And it's like
Absolutely.
those actors are making those characters cool. To me, it might be different
100%.
once we get into stuff that I have attachment to. Like, that's been the weirdest thing about the MCU is like, like I love the early MCU, like the first 3 phases of MCU I love, but like if you took those characters and put them into the comic side of things, the only one I was interested in was Spider-Man. That's it. I was never a Thor guy. I was never Avengers. I was never Cap. I was never Iron Man. I wasn't really. I did get into
Guardians,
but
I despised Thor.
Like it.
I despised comic book Thor when I was growing up. I thought it was the cheesiest
same here
thing ever. But the movies,
it was like hokey. Like
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But the movies just they fucking do it, right? And it's just like, so yeah, I'm just like I just could not disagree more. Like,
yeah,
the actors are what bring me to the movies. It's not the characters. And like, don't get me wrong, when we get to stuff like X-Men, okay, yeah, in that circumstance, yeah, sure, Wolverine and the X-Men, they're gonna bring me to the movie. But we'll see how that plays out. I'm hopeful, but I mean,
I'm hopeful too. I'm super. I actually just watched my son's. He's only 8, right? So he can't watch everything in the world.
Sure.
So he hasn't seen any of the X-Men movies, but he's been begging me to learn about the X-Men, right? Because we've watched all the Marvel movies up to the current stuff.
Okay. And, have you guys watched the old animated series at all together?
No, not yet. I know it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, we should.
I feel like those still hold up for the most part, and it's really some of the best X-Men stories, kind of all summarized and put into a nice tight package.
Well, yeah, that's a great suggestion. I did give in maybe 2 weeks ago, and we did watch X-Men First Class.
Okay, that's a good one to start
me
with,
was a pretty good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was never a big Fox X-Men fan because I felt like, again, like here we are talking about the things that we're passionate about, and it's like I really care a lot about the X-Men. And the one thing I always found with the X-Men Fox movies is it's like they took the likeness of the character and made new characters with them. And I was just like, I don't really love that. There's so much good stuff to pick from. I don't know why you wouldn't just roll with it.
I absolutely despise the first 3 X-Men movies.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan.
Yeah.
Charles,
you know which one I'm talking about.
Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Those ones were so bad. And it's weird because back in the day, we didn't, again, we're in the golden age of a lot of this stuff, right? Back in the days when those X-Men movies were out, and my friends were like, "Oh, they're so cool," and they were just all so cheesy. It's like, no, we're not there yet, guys. I don't know, why we're jumping the gun here. But those were not it. I hated Cyclops in those movies.
Me too.
I know we're piling on Cyclops.
Cyclops is having a bad night tonight.
He's having a bad night. But, oh man, Cyclops in those movies he was such a bad actor. It was, oh my god, it was so terrible.
Well,
so
I remember
First Class to me is definitely better than that.
Okay, yeah,
I
would
era
agree
of
with
the
that.
movies, if that makes sense.
I still didn't love it, but I do agree with you that it was better. It was a step in the right direction. But I love the only Fox X-Men movie I love is Days of Future Past. Like, I fucking love that movie. It's so well done.
Yeah, I might watch it with my son at some point. I've only seen it once. I remembered I relatively liked it.
It's very
but I don't
grim. remember
if it's appropriate for an 8-year-old.
I don't think it is. I think it's pretty grim.
Okay, but
right. So.
I mean, so I'll watch it myself
and just make
something.
Just to
get it. But I do think X-Men First Class, there was a couple amazing roles in it, meaning probably just Magneto. I do really like Magneto.
Fassbender was a great Magneto.
Fassbender. I think he was some of the tense scenes in that movie where he's chasing down Nazis to kill them. Those were chef's kiss.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree.
So there was definitely some high moments in those, but like you said, I'm not sure how they're gonna fold that into the MCU now. But I guess we'll see. I guess I do trust them to a point.
We'll
You know
see
what I
in
mean?
Deadpool
So,
because it sounds like they're setting
yep,
Deadpool up to basically do
yep,
for Fox X-Men what Spider-Man No Way Home did for Toby and Andrew.
yep. That's what I've
So
heard
let's
too.
hope that's the case because I would love to see that play out.
I actually read on
So.
Twitter today that filming officially ended for it.
Oh
So
shit!
they're done filming it now. So now it's just going to be, CGI post production stuff.
Right.
So
Cool.
it's
I'm
coming
excited for
along.
that one. Well, that's the
Yeah,
next movie after the Marvels, which is in November. So
yeah. My
it goes
daughter's
the
really excited for
Marvels.
that.
Is
Yeah,
she? Yeah.
yeah.
I
She
won't
loves
lie.
Captain
I
Marvel.
wasn't excited, and then when the last trailer came out, I was like,
Hmm.
that looks pretty fun.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
I'm
I'm
on board for
sure.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not my 100% favorite characters, but my daughter loves it. I'm gonna support her. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
she
for
she actually
sure.
liked the Miss Marvel series. I watched
I
it with
liked
her.
the Miss Marvel movie a lot, the series a lot, like quite a
Yeah,
bit, like
really.
way more than I
Yeah.
thought. I went in thinking it wasn't going to be for me, I think, so that
Yep.
probably helped a big way. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll watch it because we're talking about it, but like I feel like this is just not for me. And then
Yep.
like I think after like the first episode, I was like, this is fucking like pretty good. It's like
Yeah.
way
It
better
was
than I
fun.
anticipated it being.
It
So
was fun, right? Some stuff can just be fun nowadays. You know what I mean? It doesn't have
yeah,
to be
yeah, it
like this
doesn't have to be
big.
world ending.
And I wish more people thought like you, right? Because not everything is for everybody, right? So
Yeah,
there's some stuff I don't like, but I don't get bent out of shape about it because it's just not
yeah,
for me.
same.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it's
same
not
here.
for me. Um,
Yeah,
you know. But that's a
yeah,
bigger
I'm the same.
overarching thing about fandom nowadays. You know what I mean? That
It's true.
we
It's
don't need
true.
to get into. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. So
Yeah, it's
like
okay for
She-Hulk,
things. I
She-Hulk
know.
is not for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
See, it's
Like I
funny
thought it
because
was
like I
mildly entertaining,
actually
but
liked She-Hulk. I thought it was good. I thought again, I'm not super familiar with the character from the comics, but what I am familiar with and like the stuff I do know, I was like, this is a very true depiction of that
mhm,
character. She's very much like the talks to the audience and is like
mhm,
it's very lighthearted. It's
yeah,
kind of makes fun of itself in a big way, right? And I quite enjoyed that. But I mean, I'm not saying it was
mhm,
the best thing. Like, could
yeah,
it have been better? Yeah, totally. But like, I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did. Like Ryan and
right.
I, when we would talk about it every week, Ryan's like, "This is hot garbage," and I'm like, "Well, maybe a little bit, but this is the shit that I liked out of it. Like, there's still stuff in it that's good and that I
it's
like, right?
it's it's
But
not hard garbage. It's mild garbage. Okay,
yes, it's cooled down garbage
it's,
sitting on a
it's
hot
cool
sidewalk.
down
That's what
garbage.
it is.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
but
yeah,
I do agree with you that the show actually does match the comic book. So I think a lot of people's expectations were they don't know the comic book. But
yeah,
the old She-Hulk comic books, she was like that. It was kind of goofy. Like
yes,
it was kind of, half goofy that she broke the fourth wall a lot. She would
all
talk
the
to the
time.
reader, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
so in that sense, the show to me is a success, you know what I mean? If you're going by the old if that's what they wanted to do. But
Yeah,
again,
I
it's
didn't
just
like
not
the
for
ending though. I
everybody.
will
So
say the ending. I was like, wow, that was a failed miss. Like really bad fucking attempt on landing.
yeah, endings are the one thing they mess up most nowadays, I think. Out
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna
anything,
open this
right?
while we chat.
Okay, yeah, start opening it.
Yeah, fuck
Do you
yeah.
have that top-down camera today or no?
I didn't set it up,
Okay, all right.
but I'll still
It's
show
okay.
it
I'll give
once
a
I do this.
play-by-play. So he's got his X-Acto knife out,
I'm
and
ready to
he's
fucking
trying.
break into it. I'm ready to
Oh,
rip into that shit.
yes, he's ripping into it.
Man,
He
these
wants to
these
see
boxes
Fen
are so
Long.
nice.
I love it. I love how it looks like an arcade cabinet. I think that's genius. Like that's
What
so
are
cool.
you hoping to see um from SDCC this year? Got anything that you're hoping to see?
Not. I guess not really. I mean, I'm definitely interested in all the NECA stuff they've showed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Are you
and
gonna
I,
eventually try to pick up those? Like I know you didn't order them for like when they were up the NECA exclusive, but are you interested in Kino eventually? Are you interested in the
yeah,
Samurai Turtles?
yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Samurai
Yeah.
Turtles probably not because I have
Yeah.
a list of turtles I need to get before that. Like my number one, I know you have them already, but I think I have here. This will give you a hint to what turtles I'm looking for right now.
Fuck yeah.
Like this is the image that the new figures are, right? Like
I
this
love them
in
so
my
much,
head.
man.
This is my childhood Ninja Turtle book. I don't know if you could tell how red it
It's
is.
a
You
little
know what
beat
I
up.
mean? Like I had these when I was like 10 years old, and that's why the Mirage series. I've I've opened quite a few Mirage series on my channel, so I've talked
Yeah.
about this a lot, like what it means to me. But again, it's one of those things. Like I had these four Ninja Turtle Mirage trade paperbacks when I was little, and
Yep.
they're all broken down, they're ripped up. I've read them literally
So many times.
100 times each, right? So the Mirage series right now is just so amazing to me. And the new Turtles, oh my god, I want them so bad. But I keep striking out at Target nearby.
Yeah,
and,
that sucks, man.
You can't order them online yet. I know sometimes you will find them on where you get them.
Right.
With a dented box or something like that. Like
my box was pretty beat up, but
yeah,
it's not the end of the world for me.
So I'm keeping my eye out. So I'm a little jealous you got them already. Not much. I will get them eventually, but
they're really really good.
Number one on my list is those. So I'm not really thinking about anything else until I get those at some point. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair. They're great. They're my favorite turtle action figures I own. And I'm the opposite to you. I have zero attachment to the Mirage stuff. It's the only medium of the turtles that I wasn't into.
Yeah. So they're picture perfect, like exactly like what I want. When we first saw a preview of them, maybe it was last San Diego Comic-Con when they showed them in the case.
It was.
And I was just like, that's it. Like that's like that's what I want. That's the thing I want in the world. You know what I mean? So
no, they're really really nice.
But
if they redo those with colored bandanas,
I've seen a customizer.
I did too.
Done that already on Twitter.
There is a very strong chance that if they redid those in comic color colored bandanas, I would be buying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I've seen pictures of the sculpt work on him and everything.
Look at the
texture of the pants. That's awesome.
Like, it's crazy, dude.
That's
the texture on the pants. Jada Toys,
I don't have any Jada figures.
Texture. Yeah, these are my first.
Your first? Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks so good. I've definitely
can't
seen
wait
pictures.
for Mega Man.
Yeah, I've seen a picture. Yeah, I've seen the new Mega Man stuff coming out. I'm a big, as a video game fan, Nintendo back in the day, Mega Man 2 and 3 are my jams.
Oh my god,
you know what
best.
I mean? So I love classic Mega Man. I have those new Mega Man shirts in my store too.
Oh, nice.
Those are real world Mega Man powers.
That's right. I forgot about those. Those are
you got menstrual cramps. I've sold a couple of those. You got massive debt. So yes, I'm a classic Mega Man lover too.
Yeah, I love Mega Man. Cool. Mega Man was one of the first games that, one of the first properties I think I fell in love with. It
really?
It was always a favorite.
Video game soundtracks wise, I still think Mega Man 2 and 3 are two of my favorite soundtracks of all time. That is so good, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
Speaking
about paint, there's actually paint on this guy. There's darker skin tones in the recession of all of his musculature.
Yeah. That looks
it's
great.
Really nice. Yeah,
the joints really nice and tight. They're not loose.
Very tight. Yeah, and they're all pinless, which is nice.
Nice.
So we were talking earlier. So if you do happen to see a couple of these again, let me know because I would probably take you up on another round of them because I want them for fodder.
The Pacific Northwest really Targets are black holes of not getting anything good, though. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. That's okay though. Maybe one day you'll see them and I'll reap the benefits of it. Yeah, this is fucking great. He also comes with this flaming dildo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. What effects he came with.
Yeah. So you kind of just tuck it on his leg there, and
sure.
Let's see here.
That's
I love the range of motion. Look at that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Does he come with stands?
He doesn't know. Ryu comes with one for his fireball, though, I believe.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, and I think Chun-Li does too, because she comes with the lightning kick. So
well, I think they're only $24 too. So you're getting 24. A lot for 24 already. I think,
definitely.
You know what I mean?
They're definitely setting a good standard for what a non-import figure should be.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I've been. These were shown last year at Comic-Con, and
were they?
This is the thing. This is what won Comic-Con for me last year was Street Fighter and Mega Man.
Oh, so. Okay, yeah. What else does Jada Toys do? Are there any more lines that I should look up?
So they started with they actually started with like cereal characters. So they
I think I've
started
seen
with
that.
Count Chocula and Frankenberry.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I've seen those.
Yeah, and then they did Universal Monsters.
Oh, okay.
They're not as good as the NECA ones. They're kind of like less detailed, like less realistic looking ones, kind of like more, just like toyetic kind of looking ones.
Right.
Look at these. Even comes with their little backgrounds. That's pretty fun.
That's tight, man. That's so
that's
cool.
Great.
They did a great job just with the packaging.
Yeah, I love the packaging. Man. The packaging is really nice. It's really, really nice. Yeah, so they did those, and then Street Fighter and Mega Man are really their first like hyper articulated. And June, the guy who is like the lead designer on them, he's a hardcore Street Fighter fan, and he's kind of said like, my goal for this line is to finish the roster for Street Fighter 2. So
wow,
that's the goal. So which is great because like SH Figuarts had a line of Street Fighter, which I have. Which kind of jumped around in terms of like aesthetics. Like some of them were,
I think I've seen
like
some of those.
Yeah, some of them are like Street Fighter 2, some of them are Street Fighter 5, some of them are like different versions, right?
Did you know that the classic G.I. Joe line, the 3 1/4 inch, actually had some Street Fighter figures?
It's the only G.I. Joes I had.
Oh, really?
Growing up. Yep.
That's hilarious.
I was a big fan, even though they were shit, but yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I think I had maybe a couple of them, but I didn't. I don't think I maybe knew what Street Fighter was at the time. I just had them,
Fair. Yeah, I had. Who did I have? I had Ken. I had Blanca. I had Zangief. I had Sagat. I had Bison.
Dang.
I had Guile.
I think I had Vega.
I could never find Vega, but I always wanted him because I love his claw.
I had Vega. I think I had Vega and maybe Blanca or something like that.
Yeah.
I only had like a couple.
Blanca had the flocked chest hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yep. And obviously none of them are at scale, right? That was the weird thing about them, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm sure
like Zangief was the same size as Guile.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Man.
Oh, that looks so cool.
And again, this gi is like super soft, so it's like
it
like does not get in the way at all. Like
I don't know. Crazy. I'm pretty impressed.
I'm very impressed.
I'm pretty impressed.
So we know what's coming in Wave 2 for both Mega Man and Street Fighter, and apparently at SDCC they're showing off Wave 3 for both. So I'm very excited.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you know what the next wave is? What are the next couple?
Street Fighter's next wave is Ken, Bison, and Dhalsim. And Mega Man is Cutman, Elecman, and Bomb Man, Mega Man. So each wave for Mega Man is going to have a Mega Man with the power, so a different colorway with his a different power blaster. So they're using Bomb Man for like the Mega Man, so he's like white and green and he comes with the bombs. Awesome. But yeah, so right now it looks like they're kind of filling out Mega Man 1 lineup. They're 2 Robot Masters away from being finished, so Guts Man and Bomb Man are who's left. But then June from Jada said that the next wave they're going to change it up. They're not going to just stick with Mega Man 1,
right?
Which
cool.
I don't know how I feel, because my two favorites from Mega Man 1 are the 2 that haven't been made now. So Guts Man and Bomb Man were my 2 Mega Man 1 favorites, and now we're probably gonna have to wait for them. So
I can definitely see both sides of that. Yeah, that looks cool.
Me too.
And
I can too.
Collectors Express in the chat said his Ryu came today as well. So
nice. I didn't even see him there. What's up, dude? How you doing, Jared? Yeah, Ryu's fucking awesome. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. Joints are all tight too, which is good. I could definitely see some good fodder use for both of these guys. So yeah, switch out that head so he's got like the crazy eyebrows that go over his headband. The thing I think I like the most about these is I like versus the Bandai is I like that they match the versus screen sprites.
Oh yeah.
The likenesses are like very, very, very accurate to those. So I like. Kind of like
I'm
that.
super impressed. Like I'm being honest with you, right? Like I'm very impressed with those. Like I might have to buy a couple of those someday because obviously nostalgia. Like I remember playing Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo back in the day,
Fuck
and
yeah.
all those the versus screens and stuff. Like that looks so
Yep.
cool. I'm actually super curious how they're gonna do Dhalsim's like arms. Like
Oh,
if they're
they're
gonna
all.
have
He
like
has
stretchy
swappable.
arms or something like
Yep.
that.
He
Yeah.
has
Oh man.
bendy
Yeah.
legs and arms, alternate legs, full
That's
legs and
so
arms.
cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm
And
telling
they're
you.
posable. They're bendy. You can just bend them around and do what you got to do.
All right. I dig it. I dig it. If I do see
Very
those
cool.
at Target, I might have to get myself one too.
The fireball even has the hands
Mhm.
inside.
Oh, I see it. Yes.
It's very cool.
That's super cool. And you said the Fireball 2 has a stand, so you can sort of
Yep.
make it look like it's shot out of his hand too.
Yep. Let's see here. Put that together real quick. Where's the peg hole? Here it is.
Matt can't find the hole, everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, I don't know if
Dig
Jada
it.
Toys is doing it, but I've seen pictures of some Mega Man X figures coming out, and they're
Bandai.
Oh, are they Bandai? Yeah, they
I think
have
so.
a lot of the shooting effects on stands too. And
Yep.
I think I actually sent you a picture of one of them. It looked
Yeah.
cool.
Most
It
of my
looked really
attachment
cool.
for Mega Man is all classic. Like I did
Classic.
play Mega Man X, but I don't have any attachment to it. So like, I mean, if Jada made them, I would probably buy them just because I want the live to survive and like, I want
Yeah.
more robot match. Like especially because like with Mega Man traditionally, it's always Mega Man, no robot masters. So I think
Okay.
there's been 4 or 5 Japanese companies that have done different Mega Mans, but I think out of all 5 companies, the only robot masters we've gotten was Cutman. That's
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's why I'm super excited for Jada, because it's like, even in my own personal collection, I think I have 3 different Mega Mans.
Yeah.
But I have no
remember you
robot
showed
masters.
me one.
Yeah.
You showed me one like a year
Yeah,
or so
the
ago.
D Arts. Yeah, the D Arts one.
D Arts? Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. Cool. It's okay. I don't love it. Like it's not bad, but it's not great either. Like I'm more excited for the Jada stuff. I think the Jada stuff's gonna kick ass, especially now that I have my hands on these Street Fighter. Like,
well, Jada, after you showing me these, I mean, Jada's on my radar at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
very,
pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love the Fei Long. He looks so.
Yeah, he looks great. Man, you can throw a Bruce Lee head on that, and you have a Bruce Lee figure too. I mean, I know he's like ripped,
for sure,
like just shitting back, but like a really like animated style. Like, man, just like how crazy that is. Like, just it's fucking great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, these are super impressive. And like, look at that ab crunch forward. Like,
oh, that's almost G.I. Joe ab crunch.
I know.
Let's see. I have a bat here too. Let's see. Let's have a crunch contest.
A crunch contest.
All right, here's G.I. Joe. Here's the bat. Oh,
you
Bat's
win.
got him beat. I think he
does. It's the diaper that stops this guy.
Yeah, the diaper crotch.
He's got diaper crotch.
Yeah. McFarlane Figures started doing diaper crotch.
Yeah.
But theirs is pretty flexible, I would say.
These ones are too. Yeah.
But the bat,
very much so.
I don't know. This is probably my favorite classified figure right here. I don't know if you know.
It's a cool looking one.
What the bat is. I had one of these when I was little.
I don't know what it is, but I've seen it so many times because like I think he looks really cool. But
yeah, it's like the big Android troop builder. There's a couple different versions now, different paint jobs. There's a red one, there's a Python Patrol one, there's a classic one, and then they're about to release a like Arctic one.
I saw that.
Oh my god, it's so
very
cool. He's got a chainsaw. He's got a chainsaw like arm. Oh man, I'm so hyped about that. It looks
that's good. That's super cool. Yeah,
it looks so good.
Yeah, I gotta say, even though I'm not a G.I. Joe fan, the classified series figures are really fun. Like, I've used a couple for customs, and like I remember when they first came out, I found a Snake Eyes in store, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy this just because it kind of looks cool, and I've heard good things, and like, yeah, I was super impressed by how well they moved, and they've only gotten better. Like, now they're pinless. All the females are double jointed, and like have the full same range of motion as the males do, and I'm like,
and they're actually,
man.
Yeah, and they're still only $22, right? So they haven't really jumped.
Oh, I didn't know that.
they haven't really jumped the shark on pricing wise, and I've definitely noticed like the first the first year or so, the first I don't know 50 figures or so, like the accessories that they came with, like the guns and the
Yeah,
knives
they
and
were like
stuff, were
space
just one
lasers and
solid
shit.
color. Yeah,
Yep,
they were like that, and they were just one solid color. And nowadays,
they're painting them.
they're adding actually getting paint accents. I've noticed on them, so they are upgrading some things too, which is kind of surprising because they really
That's
haven't.
great.
They've only raised the price a few dollars since the line
Since it
first
started.
debuted, even though they're nowadays. Nowadays they're doing a lot of deluxe figures,
Yeah, yeah, with
which is
like
their
lots of
thing.
like alt hands and like
Yes,
animal sidekicks and stuff. All the
yes.
animals I see, I'm like, man, that is fucking badass.
Yeah. Well, I Spirit, he's the sort of Native American
Yes,
GI
yep.
Joe. He comes with that his
The
Falcon.
eagle, right?
I
Oh,
think
the
it yeah,
falcon.
his eagle. His eagle. It's a bald eagle, duh.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
it's named Freedom. It's so cool looking. Like it's
Really?
fully
Yeah, I saw pictures and
articulated.
I was
Like
like, that's pretty badass.
it's super cool.
But like Croc Master's big crocodile, that's really
Yeah.
cool. And
I have that in my to be opened pile.
do you? Yeah, and Snake
Crockmaster.
Eyes is like wolf
Timber.
or whatever,
Yep.
timber. Like that's
Timber.
pretty
Yep.
fucking cool too. So
Yeah, there's a lot of dogs in GI Joe. You'll get there's a Law and Order, uh, figure that they'll make eventually, Mutt and Hound. So there's going to be a lot of animals in GI Joe.
cool.
Okay,
I will eventually pick up some of those if I come across them and I'm feeling like I want to spend money. That's
yeah,
there's a very
it's
good likelihood that that will happen. So
yeah. My one of my childhood favorite things in the world is the GI Joe animated movie.
okay,
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
nope.
there's a specific cast of characters from it um, that weren't in the regular series. They were just in the movie, and
Oh,
I
okay.
adore them. And if they ever release them in classified, is oh man, I would go crazy. Globulus is one of them. Nemesis Enforcer. Like I would just go crazy when they show these off. My favorite GI Joe villain is actually Serpentor. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw him because he was one of the SDCC exclusive last year.
Yeah, well, he's a
That's
Pulse
cool.
exclusive nowadays, and every time, literally every time he's gone up for sale, it's sold out instantly. So I
Yeah,
have never had a chance to buy it,
to
and
pick him up.
I've even I've seen, hey, it's up now. Gone to the website, literally 30 seconds later, sold
And it's
out.
gone.
Like I don't think I'm ever gonna get it. He's my
Oh,
favorite
that
villain of
sucks.
all
Do you ever
time.
check GameStop for those? Because GameStop gets all the Pulse exclusives too, right? Or the
I don't think
SDCC
so.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I've checked them out recently at all.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd be kicking around still, just because it's kind of older now. But
Yeah. Well,
like
do
I know,
see,
like that same year, like that Mojo World
I see.
pack came out, and
Yeah,
they
I see
had
that at
that.
GameStop. Yep.
Yeah,
They've had the Viper 3-pack. There's a GI Joe Viper 3-pack I've
Oh,
seen
okay.
there too. And yeah, I've seen that Mojo pack there, to be honest. I remember seeing that at some point.
Yeah, and they had the Modoc World Tour one where it was like that Modoc with the Elvis hair and the sideburns
Oh,
and the
really?
captain
No, I
from
didn't see
Next
that one.
Wave. Yeah, that was
Okay.
around for a while too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this next as well. This is the other thing I got. I got
What is
this
it? Oh, yeah, the
Andre the Giant
Yeah.
Ultimate Edition WWE figure. So
Do it up. I'm wondering about
Yeah.
the scale on that though. Do you have any more of the figures in the line? Did they scale him properly?
they did.
He's a mountain of a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
Like,
big. Well, like he made Hogan look small, and Hogan's 6'5" or 6'4".
Yeah, I remember. I've
Yeah.
seen videos of his hand back in the day, like just how big his hand was.
I have to say, so I don't watch wrestling now, but I loved wrestling when I was a child,
Mhm.
and I collected wrestling figures for a very long time when I was a kid, like a long time.
Yeah.
2 or 3 different kind of eras of them. So so when they started doing these Ultimate Edition ones, they basically updated their top tier ones to another level. So the ones under the Ultimates are elite. So they're single jointed elbows, ab crunches, double jointed knees, and then all the updated articulation. But when they did Ultimate Edition, they started giving them alternate hands, alternate expressions, soft goods, belts, and then they upgraded the torso articulation to being a diaphragm. They updated the elbows to being pinless double jointed. They added butterflies. They add drop down hips. They added toe hinge. And as soon as they did all that, I was like, all right, let's try a couple of these out. Man,
Yeah, for
the
sure.
fun factor on these things are just out of this world. They're
Really?
they're so fun. They take me back to being a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
so much. It's crazy.
That's how they get us. That's how
They
get
do.
us. I'm actually
It's that nostalgia again.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Jada Mega Man figures on Big Bad Toy Store. They do look pretty ballin'.
Sure do. Even if it's just
And they're only $20.
I know they are. They're small though.
Like,
they're
only
4 inches.
$20. Yeah.
But they're in scale with like what you would have for like a, you know, what's it called? Like if you put him with like a Marvel Legends to do like a Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He would be they'd be in scale.
Well, yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
So
that
good.
was that was
man. This guy.
I want to take you for a ride. Do.
Fucking
one song. Yeah, that looks.
He's got all these extra hands, so he's got like the kind of open like choke slam kind of hands. Mm-hmm. He's got pointing hands. He's got fists.
Poke some eyes out.
Poke some eyes. Got some fists. He's got some weapon holding hands. He's got 3 portraits, so he's got kind of 4. Oh my god. Oops.
4
portraits.
Yeah,
You got that. I
saw all the different heads.
That one.
Oh yeah. That one looks. The likeness on that one. Second one was. Yeah.
And what's this one? Oh, these ones are all. They're all. Oh, I see. This one, his eyes are kind of like.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
And then.
Yep.
Very cool. And then he comes with a shirt. Soft goods.
A soft goods shirt? That's pretty cool. Is that common for the line?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of times they come with like ring attire. So like Shawn Michaels came with like his chaps and his like vest and all that. DX, all the DX members come with like a DX shirt, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's one thing. That's one of my complaints about the G.I. Joe Classified line. A couple of the figures is they I don't know. I don't know if you know who Dusty is. Dusty is a figure a few waves ago.
Okay.
He's like the desert figure. So his original G.I. Joe figure he has a helmet on, but he has the cloth. I don't know the proper name for it. The cloth coming off the helmet, because he goes in the desert.
Oh,
so the cloth
comes
down to protect his face from the sand. In the original G.I. Joe figure, it was actual cloth. You know what I mean? And so his new classified version. No, yeah, his new classified version is all hard plastic, and it looks terrible. And it's like, man, you guys, that one little thing wrong. You know what I mean? It makes me mad. And then they have another figure coming out soon called Nunchuck, and it's the same thing. He had a cloth like wrist wrap or head wrap on. Sorry. But it's plastic again, hard plastic again, and I just don't like the way it looks. And I wish they would take that little extra step on those, couple of the figures right there, just to, put them over the top a little bit. That's pretty much, one of the glaring omissions in the classified line to me so far, for sure.
But I feel like the classified team, and again, this is just from hearing my local friends talk about it. I have a lot of local friends who are huge, hardcore Joe fans. And they always talk about how the classified team is very good at listening to feedback and adjusting based on feedback. So maybe they'll fix that.
Yeah, we'll see.
This is crazy good.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I think the likeness is great.
Very good.
Especially on the ones with his mouth open. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just remembering him always with his mouth open, but anyway,
see how he looks next to somebody. Let me see
if I could find it.
Here he is next to my favorite.
All right, I found it.
So yeah, that's a pretty good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes.
Bret Hart.
He's a mountain of a man.
Yep.
So
yeah, he's like a whole head bigger than Bret.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that looks great.
Fuck yeah. I was never a huge Andre the Giant fan, but I was like, he's gonna look pretty damn good.
So I don't know if you've seen it, but I was at a Walmart up here once, and I actually saw the Dusty figure we were just talking about.
Yep.
But the head on the figure didn't look right. So I took a quick video of it. I posted up on Instagram as like a, a short or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've seen the Dusty figure before. This is the wrong head. And I looked at the box. I took the box down. It looks like it was still factory sealed or something. So, but
Interesting.
I don't know what happened. But if you look at this video, I guess someone commented on my
Do you have it
Instagram
on your
post.
screen?
I have it on my screen right now. Yeah.
I think you can share your screen if you want. I think down at the bottom there's like a present button.
Yeah, is that what that does?
Yep, and then under there it says share screen, and you can like pick how you want to share it. If you want to share the whole screen or just a tab, or
let me see.
You should be able to do it without me having to help. I think. I'm pretty sure.
All right, let me see if I can figure this out then. Allow, not now.
There you go. Hang on, let me add it.
So yeah, this is it. So you caught a quick piece of it. But anyways, I was like, I looked at this Dusty figure and I'm like, that is not Dusty's head. And apparently someone, I don't know who would do this. Someone bought this figure, I guess, and swapped out the head with a wrestling figure. This is supposedly a wrestler named Heath Slater, I guess.
Oh,
and,
okay.
They put Heath Slater's head on Dusty and like returned it to Walmart or something. Because there's no way that this is a factory, like, there's no way this is a factory defect.
That does happen though. That does happen though. Like,
does it?
Part swappers? Yeah, it sucks.
I'm telling you, the box looks like it's factory sealed. The tape
I've
looks
seen
great on it, and
I
was so confused.
Worse. Way worse. Yeah.
Oh man, I was so confused. It was, so I had to take this video. Like it was just
funny.
Like,
it looks so not right. Like
I no, that's what I said. I'm like, I don't own Dusty, but this cannot be right. This is not Dusty. So that's why I posted it, right. And I'm glad I got a response. Like, hey, the dude's like, hey, that's Heath Slater. I know who that is, which is like apparently some wrestler. That's why this popped into my head because you're talking about wrestling.
I love the wrestlers, man. I love them. They're so they're great. They're such fun.
I don't know.
So yeah, that's probably the collection that has grown the most for me in the last like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, like just right behind me, like that little shelf was like, 10 figures like in September.
Yeah.
And now it's fucking full. And like not even all of them are up there because I don't have room to put them all up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love them so much. They're just really fun. And like I said, they're not perfect. Like, like I wish the neck articulation was like a Marvel Legend, so it had like a disc hinge. Right now they just have like a ball, so like still pretty. I mean, for short-haired guys it's good, but a lot of wrestlers have long hair, so it's like, pretty restricting. And then like the ankle rockers, they're different. They're like pegged in on the bottom, not on like at the front kind of. So like they don't get as good of a range of like swivel, and they're like a lot harder to like move. Like the range of motion just isn't as good there.
Yeah, for sure.
Aside from that, they're pretty fucking wonderful. So
yeah, I would think, in wrestling figures, I would think the articulation needs to be like as good as it can get. You know what I mean?
Well, this line in particular has been great because I haven't been collecting since the beginning. I just started it this past year, but since their incarnation, they're only like 2 figure waves. So
I just read Collectors Express comment. If you want to read it, it's hilarious.
I saw Marvel Legends Gladiator at Walmart where someone swapped out the bath head with a used hard candy. That's what I mean. I've seen so many bad like Build-A-Figure swap outs or like alt head swap outs. And
really? No, that Dusty was my first thing that I've seen.
Your first encounter?
Yeah, my first encounter. Did you get the flavor Collectors Express? Did you try it? What flavor candy was it?
It was the good shit.
Strawberry.
They're using the good stuff. Those strawberry candies that your grandma had that were like had the little strawberry juice in the middle.
Yeah, you get like 50 of them every Halloween and they stayed in your basket. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, these figures have been cool because since the beginning of the line, so they only do 2 figures a wave. So it's really easy to collect them because there's only about, even with all the like extra little side bits, there's only about a dozen a year. So, and like they mix old stuff with new stuff, and I don't collect new stuff. So it's, now that I'm caught up, there's like, I buy maybe half of it. But when they first started, they didn't have butterfly joints and they didn't have drop down hips. So since then, they have updated the bodies and continue to make them better. So it's kind of nice to see them continually progress. So I'm hopeful that maybe one day they'll swap away from the style of ankle and head articulation they use. But to be honest, even just as is, they're pretty fucking fun. Like I quite like them. So, you know, I don't.
Cool.
Yeah, I can look past the little minor things I don't like just because they're loaded with accessories, and I just love alternate parts. So, fuck yeah. And it comes with a really nicely painted belt too. That's a pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He's got some big butterfly joints too. He's a big man with big butterfly joints.
He is a big boy. Big boy.
Big beefy boy. I wonder, I never saw the McFarlane Princess Bride figures.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just curious about the Andre the Giant figure in those. I don't think I've seen that one. How big he is, yeah. I wonder if McFarlane, kept him to scale.
Probably did. I mean, if there's one thing McFarlane has shown is that he's not afraid of doing big figures.
Oh yeah, yes. I have a few of them, like the Devastator. I don't know if you
I know what that is.
The Devastator figure, McFarlane figure, is probably one of my top figures I have in my collection.
Oh,
like,
nice.
It's so beefy. It's so good. The paint job, the sculpt work and everything.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of especially deluxe McFarlane stuff. Like I think McFarlane's definitely kept the good sculpt work from back in the days when the company first started out. That's definitely stayed with them. The articulation is the big complaint I have about them nowadays. It's just some of the figures look the proportions are just way off because
that's what gets me with the McFarlane stuff is the proportions. But they're just a little wonky. It's not to say that all of them are bad, but like some of them just are wild looking. And I really hate those giant balls that they use for the hands and ankles. They're very ugly.
Absolutely. Like they
I know they've gotten better, but they're still ugly.
There was a big deal about they just released a Robin figure that was exclusive to the store, but it was a version of Robin that everyone wanted. Yeah, I mean,
I remember those ball joints.
So
oh my god!
Ugly.
Yeah,
oh my god, they were so ugly.
Collector Express says I pointed it out to an employee and they didn't care. I've also heard that story. I've heard people who have like brought it up to customer service and been like, "This is wrong," and they'll show them, and the next time they go back, it's in there. Actually, on the Foosh forums that I'm on, sometimes there is a thread that's just for like funny pictures of like part swapped figures. There's like a whole thread of them. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh man, I should post my Instagram video there.
Yeah,
and the funny
some
thing
of the stuff is crazy. Like it's crazy what people dare try to get away with.
Yeah, the funny thing is the Dusty's still at Walmart. I think I think it's the Richmond Walmart. I saw it at, and I went a few weeks ago, and it's still there. Like I don't think anyone's ever gonna buy it.
You'll get clearance out eventually. Someone will love generic Desert Storm guy. Desert
Storm Heath Slater or whatever his name was.
That's funny. Yeah. It is too bad that people do that, but I mean, I guess what do you do? Right?
I guess it's their hobby, whatever makes you happy.
Some people are just cheap, and they just can't afford to buy stuff when they need it for a head, I guess. So.
I know. Hey man, if I could magically get some build-a-figure parts that I need without buying the figure, then I'd be happy. Not that I would
just swap it out with some fucking packs of rockets or something like that.
Yeah, some Smarties. Throw some Smarties in there,
man. Yeah, see? I've returned defective figures to Walmart, pointed out it was defective, and it's back on the pegs the next time I'm there. Yeah, see, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, what? I don't...
Well, it's sad for the people who buy it, like for their kids or something like that, and it's like not what they're supposed to be. That's unfortunate. So
for sure.
But I guess what do you do, right?
Yep.
So
I know. He's on my desk too. Have you seen Warduke from NECA?
Yeah, he looks great.
Classic Dungeons and Dragons figure. This is definitely one of my favorites.
Paint on that's pretty released. Fucking magnificent.
Like, the fire on the sword. It's a removable piece, right? It looks so good.
Yeah, it's like a sleeve, right? It goes over the blade.
Yeah, it's a sleeve that goes over it. So you can do it unflamed. I'm not even a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, but this is like, I don't know, the quality on this thing.
Couldn't turn away from it.
Couldn't turn it away, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna focus. I'm still just gonna focus on, G.I. Joe random NECA stuff, Ninja Turtles movie stuff, and stuff like that. But maybe I'll look into the Jada Street Fighter and Mega Man eventually. You know what I mean? But
Again, the nice thing about those is they're, probably in best case scenario, you'd be lucky if you get 3 waves a year, which probably won't be the case. You'll probably get 2 waves a year of 3. So, like even for Mega Man, you pick up a wave, it's $60 American, right?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
sounds good.
And then they look like they move very well. They look like they move as well as the import figures I have. So yeah, to see that makes me very excited. So I'm pretty pumped for those Mega Mans. They're definitely that's my top figures of the that I want the most this year. So I've been badly wanting Robot Masters for a long time. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm kind of hopeful that they move to some Mega Man 3 stuff for when they show the next wave off.
Yes, I definitely would like to see that.
I'd love to see like Snake Man, Top Man, Shadow Man.
Snake Man
Spark
was the one that popped into my head.
Needle Man, Magnet Man. Honestly, any Mega Man 3, Robot Master, they're all great. And I like Mega Man 2. Like Crash Man's probably one of my favorites. I'd love to see Crash Man at some point. Really would love to see Proto Man at some point.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe a soft goods cape. Bison comes with a soft goods wired cape as well.
Oh, that's my weak spot. Wired capes, oh my god, that's...
You haven't bought any Mafex figures, have you?
No, I don't own
any.
Dude,
stay away.
Really, the only wire cape one I have is Shredder, the movie Shredder, and that's I'm a recent collector, right? For maybe Collectors Express, maybe you didn't hear this at the beginning. So wire capes are new to me, but once I got that Shredder and actually felt a wired cape and looked how cool they are to pose, I
you can't go back, right?
Yeah, I despise McFarlane hard plastic.
Yeah, plastic capes are not great. Yeah.
Oh man, some of the newer Batman McFarlane figures, if I could find a customizer, someone that did cloth capes for them,
there's
I
lots
would
out
place
there.
those in a heartbeat.
There's lots out there. There's a company, there's a very affordable person on eBay. They're called GPS Lot.
Okay.
And they do tons of soft goods for 1/10 scale, like McFarlane scale, 1/12 scale. A lot of times they'll wire them. So I bought a hoodie, for the figure I'm making of myself. I bought a hoodie and the hood is wired.
That's amazing. That's
it's
so
crazy.
Cool.
It's so cool, and it fits perfect. So cool. And it's great.
Yeah, when you opened that Magneto a couple weeks ago, the cape was the thing that sold it for me. That cape,
the Magneto's
so
fantastic.
Cool.
That's in my top.
So cool.
That's in my top 3 figures of the year for at the moment. It's currently sitting in top 3. These Jada figures are gonna get up there though. I think.
Yeah, right.
They're pretty damn nice. So
yeah, I don't know what my top ones would be this year so far.
It's so hard. I actually keep a list throughout the year because it's hard for me to go back and try to figure out, and then I miss stuff and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I think I'm just, like I said before, I'm just in love with the Mirage Turtle series.
They're gonna be in my top as well, the Mirage Turtles for sure.
Yeah,
the 4 turtles themselves are great, and I like that. Again, I don't know the story with this, but Raph comes with that hood, and he comes with this swappable arm that has this arm band or something around it, and I'm just
he goes sort of solo a little bit.
Okay.
It's from his sort of solo times in the book,
Gotcha. But yeah, they're great. They're so fucking
those
nice.
Look so amazing. You're making me so jealous right now.
Yeah, they're really, really, really nice. So yeah, big fan.
So jealous.
I have another figure incoming that I'm looking forward to that I think is going to be probably potential figure of the year as well. The Mafex Scarlet Spider, the one with the blue hoodie.
I'm pretty sure I've seen shots of that. I've seen the promo shots and stuff.
Yeah,
and it definitely looks nice.
Looks really good. It's supposed to release next week, I think. So
he was pretty funny in Spider-Verse too.
Yes, he was great. Yeah. Collector Express says GPS Lot has some awesome stuff, especially for the price. Yeah. I think for that hoodie, I paid $18 or something like that shipped. And I was like, nice. That's pretty fucking good. So, and I've bought capes from them before as well, and they're good quality and they're wired, and they're pretty great. So I bought a Thor cape, like a
Oh,
wired
nice.
Thor cape for my comic Thor, and it it looks fucking amazing. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'll definitely look it up.
Yeah, they're
I
great.
got you.
Great stuff. Before we wrap up, let's talk about Indiana Jones real quick.
All
We
right,
can
let's
keep it
do it.
spoiler free because it's still opening
Yeah,
weekend. So
for sure. Yeah.
what did
So
you so you can kind of set the stage here because you
hmm.
can tell everyone what happened here. So we were
Well, I
supposed to live stream on Wednesday. We
yeah.
decided, Sean called me and was like, hey, I got these tickets. So you fill everyone how that all happened.
Yeah, well, as most people know, I think if you're regulars, we live in the Vancouver area, right? And I'm semi-connected, not really connected. I say I'm semi-connected with some of the like big, video game YouTubers around, and so sometimes I get first chance at like free tickets and stuff. Like I've seen a couple advanced showings of, Dungeons and Dragons, Strange World, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, stuff like that. But anyways, Indiana Jones, my kids didn't have an interest in. They haven't seen the old ones, so it was like, okay, I'm not taking them. So I offered it to Mr. Matt over there, and we went and got to see it, early. I do have a full review up on my channel, which you are free
Yep.
to watch if you want to.
I posted it in my Instagram stories today. If anybody wants to go, there's
But
a direct link.
yeah, and I remember right after the movie, I definitely liked it more than I marinated it, because I'm one of those people that sort of likes to think about stuff, you know what I mean,
Yeah, I
before I
do
make
too.
snatch judgments a little bit. So, overall, I definitely did like the movie. I think it was a good send off for the series, but it's definitely not as good as the classic ones. And it was a little fan servicey. It was a little slower paced at some points, you know what I mean? But I
It's funny you
definitely
say that because I didn't find it slow paced at all.
see. I think I mentioned this in my review. That it might just be me too, because the last movie I saw. Because hear me out on this, okay? The last movie I saw was Spider-Verse, right? And
Okay.
so Spider-Verse, literally, there's something going on the screen in all different
Yeah.
angles, all different places on the screen every second. Like every
Yep.
second, it's like ADHD, right? On crack. Like you took cocaine, you have ADHD, and you're watching a movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Totally.
nonstop for an hour and a half, or 2 hours. You know what I mean? And I think maybe my mind was just like still in that fast pace, like bam, 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 look all around, every second of the movie. And so it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of a slower pace to me, and I could
Sure.
feel myself. I could feel it being like a little odd to me, I guess. And like I
Sure.
said, I'm not saying I didn't like it because of that. Movies don't always have to be full of action and nonstop stuff. You know what I mean? They can have story and stuff like that and dialogue in them. But it was just weird coming from Spider-Verse to that. To me, it definitely stuck out in my mind as like, this feels weird to me, even though I don't think it was weird.
Fair.
If
Fair.
that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Well, you're a longtime Indiana Jones fan too, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I loved the first movie was pretty good. The second movie is the one I really loved. It was
Okay.
called The Temple of Doom, and that one was always the one. Like obviously back in the day, there's no internet, right? So whatever was on TV was on TV. So
Right.
whatever I would turn on the TV and there was an Indiana Jones movie playing, it would always be the second one for some reason. Like always,
Interesting.
always, always. So I saw the second one like probably 100 times. And I'm a huge Goonies fan. Goonies is like one of my top two
Your
movies of all
go-to?
time.
All right.
So,
Fair.
Data in Goonies is also Short Round in Temple of Doom, the
Oh,
same
I didn't know
actor,
that.
child actor. Oh,
I've
yes.
seen Goonies, but it didn't
Mhm.
resonate with me, so it's not something that ever stayed with me. So
Oh,
I saw
Goonies.
Goonies once, like when I was younger, when I was a kid.
Goonies is what it is. The Goonies NECA figures are actually the first figures that I bought after you tricked me into starting collect stuff. When you showed me those movie turtles, I actually went to Toy Traders, a local store here, and they had the 2-pack of Chunk and Sloth from the Goonies.
Okay.
They're NECA figures, and they have cloth goods,
Oh, they're the
like
8-inch ones,
clothes
right?
on.
Or the
Yeah,
8-inch scale,
they're
yeah.
oh my gosh, I was in heaven. They were like so cool. So that was actually technically my first ever NECA figure. I got those
Okay.
before the movie Turtles. So I love Goonies. Yes, I love Goonies. I love it, love it, love it. But yes, the same actor, Data from the Goonies, is in Temple of Doom, right? So
Right.
I think maybe that helped me like that one the most. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Because
that's fair. Yeah,
he's
you have
he's a
a attachment to that
yeah,
actor already, right? So
absolutely. He's a funny sidekick character. He was awesome.
yeah,
And then, the third movie was pretty good too. It had Sean Connery in it.
yep.
So I'm sure you know who Sean Connery is. That's another sort of childhood thing with me another really big thing I liked when I was a child was for some reason the James Bond movies, which
Oh,
were
interesting.
definitely a little above my age range when I watched them
Fair enough.
back in
Fair
the day.
enough.
But I wanted to be James Bond when I grew up for a period of my life. You know what I mean? I went through phases, right? I wanted to be James Bond when I grew up. Then I wanted to be Indiana Jones when I grew up. And then when, Arnold blew up, obviously we know Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Of
is the greatest
course.
action star of all time. Then I wanted to be Arnold, I would
We're this is where our age shows that our
yeah.
difference shows because like for me it's like you're a little bit ahead of me on that stuff. Like I did
Yeah.
like Arnold, but like the other ones not as much. Whereas like for me, I was like I wanted to be a Power Ranger. I wanted to
Oh
be,
yes.
yeah,
Yep.
I'd run it. Like, I think I told the story a few weeks ago, but like my mom worked at a bank when I mean, for her whole life, really, her whole career, she was a manager at a bank. And she used to
Mhm.
go in on Saturdays during tax season because she was so busy and bring me and my brother. And just like the way the bank looked, it reminded me of like the Power Rangers, like the power station, like where like
Oh,
Zordon is. And like
yeah.
me and my brother would run around playing, and like I'd always be like, doot, 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 doot. And I have to like go and duck around a corner and like, talk to my watch or whatever, right? Like it was just like,
That's hilarious.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious. One of the houses I grew up at, there was it wasn't our yard. There was a fence, but there's holes in the fence. But anyways, there
Okay.
was woods out there, and the woods reminded me of Predator, the
Oh,
first
cool.
Predator movie. So I
Yep.
would literally go out in the woods, by myself. This was my mom didn't care back then about safety. Okay, safety wasn't
It's
a thing
different
back then.
times. It was different
Different
times.
times, different times. But I would literally go in the back and just like play Predator with myself. I was Arnold, and I was dodging the Predator through the jungle and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Love it.
So it was, good times to go
I
back to
know,
those
right?
times.
I agree. I agree. Good times. It's always yeah, I have great memories of growing up and being a huge fucking nerd, so
Yeah.
it's
So
fun.
I mean, I was definitely nostalgic about Indiana Jones. I know you're not necessarily
Yeah,
nostalgic.
it's
So
again opposite for me. So
yeah.
like I have only seen the first one.
Hmm.
And last year when Ryan and I were in between shows, we didn't have anything to talk about on the podcast, so we decided we were going to watch a movie that we both hadn't seen that was like
Mm,
widely renowned as like a great, right? So we both
sure.
had
Yeah.
never seen Indiana Jones, so we both watched the first Indiana Jones and we both fucking just hated it. Like
Hmm.
so like we pretty much just spent like an hour like shit talking it, and like it was not well received by most. Everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, the first one, the only thing the first one really had going for it was just Harrison Ford himself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was okay. It really hit its stride in Temple of Doom. The second one, I
Okay.
think, second one is
See, I
pretty
hear
good.
mixed things because I hear a lot of people are like, "You didn't like the first one? It's so good."
I, I mean, to each their own, but
Yeah,
a lot of
totally.
that's nostalgia talking a little bit, right? Like
Fair. Well, that's what
I
I
remember the
wondered
first
about.
one. The first one, the special effects at the end, when the people are melting and stuff. Like when I was a
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
when I was a kid, I was even like,
Bad.
that looks terrible. You know what I mean? Like, so so it put me off a little bit. You know what I mean? But
Fair.
I gave it a chance. It was Harrison Ford. It was Han Solo, right? Like
Yep. Yep.
obviously, you can't think of Indiana Jones without thinking of Harrison Ford, and so that's what carried Indiana Jones most of the years to the current movie, right? Because the movie before this one, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I know
Yes.
you haven't seen,
Nope.
I actually watched it last night
Oh,
because
did you?
I put up my review of the new movie, The Dial of Destiny, on my YouTube channel, and then I was like, I sort of talked about Crystal Skull in my review a little bit, but I don't
You don't
really
even
remember it
remember
that
it.
well. So I wasn't sure if I said something stupid or not. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it on on the second monitor over here. So I actually watched it last night, and yes, it's terrible. Like it's terrible. It's about aliens and stuff. Like all the
Yes.
other
Yeah.
Indiana Jones movies are about like historical artifacts that could have like mystical properties. You know what I mean? Like the
Right.
first one's the
Right.
Ark of the Covenant. The second one are these stones. I forget what they're called. The third one is the Holy Grail. From the
Yep.
Bible and stuff like that. And the new one is Archimedes, dial. I
Yeah.
forget
I forget what they
what the
called it.
proper
Yeah.
name was called. So it's a semi-historical artifact that could have properties, but
Right.
Crystal Skull is just like, hey, there's aliens and there's a spaceship and Indiana Jones has a son that's really annoying, and
Oh, wasn't that
there's
what's his name from
yes,
the Transformers
yep,
movies? Shia
Shia
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf before he went crazy. Yeah, it was yeah.
All
So
right.
I mean, Crystal Skull really does not have a lot of redeeming qualities. So
Okay.
in the sense, the new movie is great as a rebound from that movie for sure,
Sure.
because
Sure.
it definitely
An
went back
upgrade.
to the roots a little bit. And
Okay. That's good then.
and the roots of Indiana Jones too. I know I talked about earlier how I thought the movie was kind of slow, but I think all the Indiana Jones movies are kind of slow, meaning they're not
Okay.
just nonstop like action
So
movies.
it
You know what I
feels at
mean?
home then.
Yeah. So I do think it was a good movie. You know what I mean? Even though it wasn't my favorite of all time, I definitely give it a thumbs up. I would say see it,
Okay.
especially if you are a fan. If you are a fan, then I would see it because it's a good send off for Harrison Ford. Because
Yeah.
from what I understand, he's not going to do any more of these. He's like 95 years old now.
Yeah, he's
So
getting up there for sure.
he's out of Star Wars and now he's out of Indiana Jones. So
Yep.
he's
Yeah.
probably going to permanently retire soon. Other than the
The
Thunderbolts,
Marvel
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Thunderbolts and
Yeah.
the Marvel stuff. That's going to be, hopefully, that'll be killer. I don't know a lot about the Thunderbolts. Do you know about their history from the comic book at all?
A bit, yeah. They're like a group of like
It was
it's
like the
it's kind of like
Suicide
Suicide
Squad.
Squad, yeah,
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
that's all
It's
I
kind of
really know
like
about them.
yeah, so it's like, anti-heroes basically.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, doing good because they're being forced to, not because they want to necessarily. Or there's some reason for them to do it because it benefits them, but
hmm
but
Did you
yeah,
have a
in
favorite?
regards.
Oh, did
Oh, I was
you?
going to say in
Sorry,
regards
I have a
to.
question for you.
Oh, sure.
Did you have a preference? Did you see both Suicide Squad versions? Did you have a
No, I
preference?
only saw the James Gunn one and I liked it.
Yeah, the James Gunn one was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, I never saw the other one because it looked fucking god awful. And then when all the reviews came out, I was like,
it was.
sounds pretty awful. So I
It
think I'll
was. I was
pass.
just asking you your opinion.
I haven't seen a good chunk of the DC movies actually, to be honest. Like even the Flash, like
Yeah,
Ryan wants to talk about it. Like I'm not a DC guy, and then like
Yep.
like Ryan wants to talk about the Flash, and like I'm especially as I'm seeing more and more coming out about it, I'm just like I kind of don't really want to see it. Like it kind
No.
of is
Yeah.
like exactly
It's
what I'm expecting it to be, which is just a
Yep.
fucking trash can of a disaster. And
Yep.
like I don't know. Like I'm like right now it's like kind of on my radar to like go see it next week, but I'm like, do I really want to waste a night like going and seeing that? I feel like I don't. So I might just like not see it, and then maybe when it comes out I'll watch it. But like
yeah, I'm
because the thing is for me, the only thing that really interests me about it is like I do like Michael Keaton as Batman. Like he was, one of my favorite things growing up too. So like, I am interested in seeing that component, but like I don't know if like a big part of it for me too is just like I don't really want to like support it just because of what Ezra Miller is and like what
I
he what should I say
100% am on
what
the
they
same
have
page.
what they have done. Like I don't I don't want to support that in any way. And like, I'm just finding more and more reasons to like not want to go see it. So there's a very good chance that I am not going to go see it. I'll just wait till it comes out on something and maybe watch it. And
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
see.
the same way as you. I'm stubborn in that sense, meaning that if I mostly don't want to see it because of Ezra Miller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to support people that do things like that,
Yeah.
even if it was the greatest movie ever and I had to pass on it because I felt that way. I do have I have morals and standards that I don't mind standing by. You know what I mean? So for me, that's definitely a big thing why I haven't seen it. I have heard not good feedback about it too. You know
I've heard so much bad stuff. I have friends who like even Ryan said like it's one of the better DC movies, but I'm like that
That's a
doesn't
low
really
bar.
mean anything to me.
Yep.
Like
That's a
Almost
low
all
bar.
the DC movies I've seen have been pretty fucking trash cans.
You're
So like,
limboing. He's limboing
yeah,
under that low bar. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly,
But yeah,
exactly.
I've never seen, honestly, the DC cinematic universe. I've never seen such a mismanaged sort of thing in the entertainment industry like it's been. You know what I mean? Like, to be
Well, if
quite
you
honest.
really look at it from a financial standpoint, they have released 6 bombs in a
Yep.
row.
Yep.
Like that's fucking like it's time to fucking pull the plug, guys. Like,
Yeah.
how much more money do you want to waste? Like, even looking at Flash, like first week drop off was 78%, second week
Yep.
drop off was
I
another
heard that.
72%.
Yeah.
They're saying it's only going to make 300 million. I think they spent like fucking like $2 billion on it or something crazy like that after marketing.
Yeah.
Like, man, talk about taking a bath. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, they would have earned a lot more goodwill with the fans, I think, if they just pulled the plug on it and been
I
like, hey,
agree.
um, we're gonna do better in the future. Ezra Miller's. We're not gonna keep tying our boat to Ezra Miller. You know what I mean? Because
Well, the fact that they didn't even say anything about Ezra Miller, I think, says a lot, right? Like, when
yeah,
everything was coming out, even if they were like, look, we can't get rid of him in the movie because he's literally in all
hmm
of it.
yep,
But like, we don't agree with what he's doing and what's coming out. And like, even to just say something instead of sitting silently and saying
absolutely.
nothing, like, I feel like
It
that
was
would have gone a lot farther.
absolutely. I 100% agree, and it's a super big kick in the face if you ask me, because he was at the premieres, right? Like he's like wanted by like the FBI or something like that, and they actually invited him to the premieres. He was like
Oh, damn, I
walking the
didn't know
red
that.
carpet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
like with
Yeah, see,
James
like,
Gunn,
you
walking
can't
down the
have
red
that.
carpet with James Gunn, and it's like, you guys cannot read the room at all. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, so, I don't know.
yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know, but we can cross our fingers for the future. I mean, I do like most of what James Gunn has done,
Me too.
in the past, for sure, especially the Guardians movies. Obviously,
God damn, the
he's definitely
Guardians are
peaked
just
at the
best.
Guardians movies, you know what I mean?
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
so I have some hope, but I'm still not sold on it, because I know that for the next Batman movie or something, I guess he's already pegged the Flash director to do it.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
we'll see. The thing is
are we going to
if
keep making the same mistakes over and over, even with James Gunn? You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
gonna I'm
I
gonna
don't
trust
know.
Gunn, and I think, like, again, like, I don't have attachment to DC, so to me, in order for them to really win me, they're gonna have to tell a good, compelling story.
Yep.
And I feel like James is really good at that. So, like, especially when I got out of Guardians 3, I was like,
hmm
if he can do that with the DC universe,
hmm
Marvel's in humongous trouble. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
take a group of characters that no one gives a fuck about and make them lovable. Make a
hmm
CGI raccoon something that I cry about.
right. Yeah.
And
And
Marvel is in
Teeps and
big fucking trouble. Big
yeah.
trouble.
Yep.
Because he's nailing it, man. And the thing that's gonna
Yeah.
work against him, unfortunately, is like that small group that think the Snyderverse is like the best thing ever. Like,
I.
I don't understand. I'm
Yep.
like, are we watching different things,
Yep.
or
No.
like,
Yep.
if they're I mean, cinematically, sure, they look wonderful, but like,
No,
the
I
stories
totally.
are
We're
just
in
a
agreement here.
fucking disaster. Like, they're just
Yep.
everywhere. Like,
And to me, the biggest sin of the Snyderverse stuff is the characters aren't true to their
to the character
origins.
that
Like, I
they're,
understand
yeah,
updating characters for movies. Even the MCU did it, right? The
yep,
characters are a
yeah.
little
I'm
different than the
fine with
comic
that
books.
too. I'm fine with a different take, but
But
some
but
things need
Captain
to be kept
America is
intact.
still Captain America, in his his
His
worldview,
morals,
in his
yeah,
morals and stuff
yeah.
like that. And we don't need a gritty Superman that just randomly kills people. And
Well, the
Wonder
thing is
Woman,
when I think of Superman, I think of like, he's like happy, and
yeah,
and then like, don't get me wrong, I do think Henry Cavill was a good Superman, but it's just like,
visually, yeah, for
it's
sure.
like depressing. Like,
Yes,
everything
they're
in that
depressing.
universe is like depressing, right? And I'm
Yes,
just like,
absolutely.
not really for me.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. 'Cause even Wonder Woman, I did love the first Wonder Woman
me
movie.
too.
Like, again,
Me too.
I'm a super fan. Gal
Yep.
Gadot is
Oh, she's
gorgeous.
great.
She is
Yep.
Wonder Woman. Again, just like Chris Evans is Captain America. To me, she's Wonder Woman. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
I
sad
really
if she
liked
doesn't
her as
come
well.
back.
I watched
But
that like last Christmas because I'd never seen it, and again, Ryan was like, "You should watch Wonder Woman because I feel like you'd like it," and I fucking loved it. I thought it was fucking
yeah,
awesome.
but remember, Wonder Woman's not a Snyderverse movie. He had nothing to do with Wonder Woman,
Right.
right? So
Right. Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah. Me neither. But yeah, I don't know. I will see. I'll give the James Gunn stuff a chance if it catches me. Like that's the thing. If I see a trailer and I'm like, this does nothing for me, I won't see it. But if I see it and I'm like, this is cool. Like he's got a lot of work to do with me because like Superman out of all the DC characters is a character like I just fucking hate. To me, there's nothing appealing about a character that can't be hurt. And I'm just like,
yeah, he's invincible.
It just doesn't attract. It doesn't attract me at all. Like,
yep, he's got every superpower you can think of. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like he can shoot lasers, he can breathe ice,
he can fly, he can pick up
X-ray
a building.
vision.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
For sure.
We'll see. Like I'll reserve judgment, right? But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I like what James Gunn does, so I think that there's potential, but we'll see. We'll see how much studio interference there is. Because that's the one thing with Warner Brothers is they're known for interfering, and if that is going to indeed be the case, then that could be in trouble quickly too, right? So
yeah.
But I think if there's a lot of studio interference, he might not even stay, right? That's the thing is he might go if he's like, fuck this. If I can't make what I need to make, then
yeah, studio interference is actually why we got the second Suicide Squad movie, which it worked out good because the James Gunn one was better than the other one, you know what I mean? But
yes,
like what kind of studio has a completed finished movie and be like, let's just do a different version of it?
Yeah.
Like a year later, you know what I mean? Like
that's just piecemeal, right? I've heard it's just like a fucking shit show.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully James Gunn could bring some stability. And we'll see what his vision is when he reveals it.
Yep.
I know he finally has the Superman actor.
Yeah, I saw that
down. So
I don't know who it is, but but whatever.
I don't know who it is. I've seen pictures though. He looks relatively like Superman.
Yeah, so. I think he looks the part, so that works, I guess. But
yep.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, we've been going for 2 hours and almost 10 minutes, so I think it's about time to kind of wrap it up.
Falling asleep in our old age.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I still have a good neat. I was saying to you before, tonight I'm finally going to be shooting this Bane figure that I made.
Yep. You still got to watch your episode too. Don't forget.
I know. I'm gonna watch it after. After we're done here, I'm gonna go for a walk. I usually go for like a late night walk, so I'm gonna go for my walk. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna watch Always Sunny, and then I'm gonna shoot this Bane figure because I need to get it out to my friend. I had to replace the feet. I was saying to Sean before we started, when I finished it last time, I went and took pictures. I took a snapshot and I looked at the picture and I'm like, his feet are way too fucking small. Like they make the whole body look unproportionate. So
yeah, those are the new ones, right?
These are the new ones. Yeah. So they're
they look good.
They're better. Yeah. So so it's time to shoot them. So I'm going to shoot them tonight and then do any touch-ups I need to tomorrow. Get it in the mail to my friend Seth, and then be done with it. But yeah, so tonight's plans are Always Sunny, Bane, and then if I have time, I'll work a little bit more on my figure of me. I'm so close. I'm getting close. I just have to do the faces, but of course, me being the egotistical fuck that I am, that's in no way me. But he has 6 alternate heads, so I'm like
6. Yeah, I've seen some of your shots of the accessories, like the donuts and stuff.
The donuts,
so cool.
Oh, dude, let me grab them. I am so I actually finished the accessories the other night.
Oh, really?
I'm so happy with them. Like just the accessories, because I was kind of like working on them already. So like I did the you can't really see them in the bag. I'll take it out. So my buddy Charlie, aspiring grown up, he printed a bunch of like baked goods for me because I told him I was going to use them for this custom me figure. So
that's cool.
So there's like these donuts that I did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then there's some croissants.
Do you have some French baguettes for beating people?
I do. Yeah. I told them, make sure you give me some baguettes.
That's so cool.
And then there's these baguettes.
Yep, I love it. Love them.
And then there's these loaves of bread that I got as well. So
Sweet.
yeah. And he did some paintbrushes and some sculpting tools.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, so I did those, and now all that's left is just the faces. So the head, the faces. Really, I got to do the hair. The skin tone's done. I did all my skin tone. I did all of my. So I just did the black on the eyes last night. I started that,
Okay.
so I have to do more. I have to still do. It'll take me like a full night to do all 6 of them, probably like a good 4 hours. So to do all of them, and then other than that, everything else is pretty much done. I have to do a water slide on the. I'm gonna put a Customs by Matchu shirt on him, so he's obviously Customs by Matchu. I got the weathering on the pants, which I think looks really good. I did some black kind of denim, all weathered up.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that looks great.
And then I also gave him 3 pairs of shoes, like alternate shoes. So I did like some old Macbeth. I used to wear these Blink-182 brand called Macbeth. So I did a pair of Macbeths because I used to wear them all the time.
Oh, awesome.
And Charlie printed for me a pair of Vans old schools.
Yep. Everybody knows the Vans old schools.
Yep. And then the second pair he gave me, I shaved off the laces. And I'm doing a pair of Vans slip-ons because I wear a lot of slip-ons. But I haven't finished these quite yet. So I'm going to do... I have a pair of camo ones that I wear. So I'm going to do those as camo.
That's so cool. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Such a cool project.
Yeah,
I wish I was a customizer. Probably
it's very
not, but,
it is very fun. The tricky part is going to be the tattoo. But the reason I kind of picked this project was because I wanted to practice water slide decal tattoo sleeves.
Yeah.
Because when I do my Blink-182 figures, Travis and Tom are both coated in tattoos, and I wanted to kind of work out the kinks on something that was less important. So
yeah. Have you seen the new G.I. Joe rock and roll figure?
He's got some tats. Yeah.
And they look pretty good. Yeah. They don't look bad.
The WWE figures do a good job with the tats.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, like Undertaker's all tatted up. His arms are both tatted up, but yeah, this one I'm gonna take some like kind of clear pictures of my ink, and I'm gonna bring it to a graphic artist friend and see if he can kind of like flatten it. And then I'm going to. I'm not gonna try to capture the whole thing. I think that would be too much. I'm gonna kind of pick key things and then fill in the gaps with like, just like leftover clippings from it. So it won't be like 100% accurate, but it'll be pretty
copy paste.
Yeah, it'll be pretty close, right? So
yeah.
And if that works,
it's
great.
Fine.
Then...
The figure's for you, anyways. You know what I mean? Like as long as you're happy with it.
Yeah, I just want to see how close I can get it, and then if that will make me decide. Like, so right now, like I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I want to do Travis with his shirt off because he always has his shirt off.
Yep.
But like he literally is covered from head to toe in tattoos. So like, I don't want to like overcommit.
It's gonna be a challenge.
Like, so like I might end up putting a shirt on as much as I don't want to. Like I might end up doing it just because
I've literally never seen a picture of him with a shirt on. Okay. Never.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
Okay.
There's like so few.
I don't think he owns a single shirt.
He's always shirtless. So yeah, so we'll see. But that was kind of the point of this project was how good can I make these decal tattoo sleeves, and like if they look good enough, I'll use them for Tom and Travis, and like if I can get them looking good enough, I'll do Travis with his shirt off, and I'll do both his back and his front of his torso with all tats. So
yeah,
we'll see. Okay. The good thing about Travis is he's mostly black and white, so like I'll be able to hide a lot of the things that maybe don't look as good.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll get there. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll probably put that off for like a month because it sounds daunting as fuck, the tattoos.
Yeah. So
I'll probably start. I have another project that like I really need to finish. I took on like an easy kind of paint job for an old customer, like a reoccurring customer. I don't usually do that, but he asked, and I was like, All right, sure. So, and it's easy. Like I literally could put like 2 nights in and it'll be done, but I just haven't yet. So, and I need to. I told him I would start it in June, and now we're getting in July, and I haven't started yet. So I need to make that happen pretty quick here. So
TikTok.
it's counting down.
So,
so one more time, you want to just let everybody know where they can find you and all that jazz? I only have your Figurama account up here, but I will add in your Enemy Zero one after the fact. I'll go back and add it to the description.
Cool. Well, yeah, I have 2 channels. So I have a main video game one, which is Enemy Zero Studio. That's my production company, my digital production company.
Is it spelled the same way as that?
There's no numbers in it. It's Enemy Zero Studio.
Okay, I'm gonna add.
But it's spelt out. There's the 3's aren't there. This is my Instagram name. Look at my finger, everybody. That's my Instagram
no, other way. Oh, your camera.
No. Oh, my camera's.
It's because yours is mirrored. That's why.
My camera's mirrored. Yes.
Yes.
So yes, that's my Instagram name. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
You can find me at I'm on Twitter and all that stuff. Enemy Zero Studio, and then I do have the figure collecting channel too, because I wanted to do something, because I'm mainly video game related. That's what I sort of started out doing. But then I was like, hey, I have all these figures that I want to open up eventually. Might as well open them up on camera, put it on YouTube. If someone enjoys watching me open crap, then
there is a market for
great,
that.
Right? So that's how Figurama started. Figurama is actually an old web comic I did 20 years ago. It was actually, I took my Ninja Turtle figures and I would take pictures of them, and I made it into a comic book.
That's
cool. Word balloons on top and stuff. Anyways,
so
it was called Figurama. That's where I got the name Figurama. I'm a big Futurama fan too, so it was kind of like a rip-off of Futurama a little bit. But Figurama was taken already, so the name is Figurama EZ. Okay, so don't forget the Enemy Zero, the EZ at the end. Okay, that's me. I'm just I'm new to collecting and stuff, but I'm not doing it just to do it. I'm doing it just to have fun.
Nice.
So if you want to tune in, if you like anything I do on my channels, then sure, subscribe.
Show some love, people. Show some love.
And Matt will invite me on again someday.
Fuck yeah,
someday in the future.
Yep, for sure. I actually have ideas for different things instead of just doing interviews every week. I kind of have thought of a couple cool ideas where I could do like in a month, do like a panel show where like I have like 4 people on, and we have a predetermined topic every week where we kind of talk about something, so we can all come in kind of slightly prepared if we want to.
Yep, I'm down.
And like I like the idea of kind of like mixing up because like I speak to a lot of people like me who customize and collect, but I also talk to a lot of people like you who are doing YouTube videos and also collect, but like it's the main focus is like a little different, right? And I kind of like that. Like it's kind of nice to have like that little shake up, right? Talk to toy photographers and it's just it's all related to the same shit, but it's all like different kind of specialties, right? So so maybe that's a kind of an avenue we could look at, having you back sometime. And
absolutely.
It'd be fun, man. It'd be fun. But thank you for giving up your Friday night to hang out and chat. And
no problem.
And thanks again for bringing me along on Wednesday. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. I'll let you know. Like I said, I'll let you know if I get tickets to the new Ninja
Turtles. Let's fucking do that.
I'll let you know.
Sounds good, man.
But thanks for having me. And it's a 3-day weekend this weekend, so let's relax and enjoy it.
I'm gonna start planning the move this weekend. We got to sit down and look at when we're moving. Like we know the day we have to be out of here, but because the house we're moving into is vacant, we can start pretty much any time. So we need to kind of figure out.
Oh, that's the best, when you can just take your time.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Very convenient. So we'll probably move like a week before we're supposed to be out of this place, and kind of make it easy. I think that's probably the best idea. So
cool.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for hanging out. And everybody, just quickly again, if you haven't, please hit that like button. Anybody who's either here now or watching on the replay, it does really help. Next week, I will be back to my usual Wednesday night spot where there's never anything on Wednesday nights. I will have my buddy Face Customs joining me. I'm very excited to chat with him. If anybody doesn't know his work, check him out on Instagram. He's a very talented customizer. If you think my shit's good, he makes my shit look fucking like shit. So he's top shelf. He's top shelf. And then, as always, join me and Ryan on Moose Milk Media podcast. That's tomorrow night, 10 p.m. We're talking Always Sunny. We're talking Secret Invasion, and we're probably saying inappropriate things that can get us canceled. So come and hang out and watch some of that bullshit. So
at least you know Ezra Miller, okay?
That's right. I don't do bad things. I just say bad things. All right. With that being said, cheers, everybody. Be careful. Yep. Have a great weekend. We'll see y'all soon. Sean, thank you again. And yeah, peace, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.